Welcome to You Hear Big Girls Attack on Titan podcast. I'm Mom Taku.
And I'm Luna.
And welcome to our 139 discussion. For this final chapter podcast, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. Since this is the last chapter, we're going to try to make our discussion more interactive. So we're recording in front of an audience, and we'll be taking their comments and questions in the chat. And because multitasking is incredibly hard, we've asked our friend Underscore to act as stage manager, and he'll be integrating your questions and comments into the conversation. Underscore, thank you so much for being with us.
No problem. It's good to be helped.
And we've also asked, I think our most frequent past guest, Puppet, to keep an eye on the chat and to provide backup for Underscore. So we have some help. We're very grateful for that. And Puppet's also going to make our quickfire interactive, so everybody gets to play along. When Polkka joins us for the quickfire, he'll be creating straw polls for everybody to make their choice as well. So that was a really great suggestion from Puppet. I'm excited about that. Let's just kick it off the way we always do, and let's go with our chapter impressions. So, Luna, I know we read the chapter together. We actually read it on a live stream with Underscore and some of the other people in our Discord. So I saw your facial expression and I heard your words. But for those who weren't so lucky, let's hear it. What were your chapter impressions?
Okay, so to commemorate the manga ending, Momtaku and I both made some t-shirts. Mine said wrong manga. Hers said fake pregnancy. I think we can both donate those t-shirts straight to Goodwill. Because right manga and real pregnancy, apparently. I have a lot of mixed feelings about the entire thing. I think I messaged you the day after we did the read of the chapter, and I was like, oh, I have so many feels right now. Like, so many emotions. I'm crying. And without, minus the crying, that's kind of how I feel right now. Like, a lot of good things, but also a lot of bad things. Yeah. Would I say there is some disappointment? Yes. But were there also things that I absolutely adored in this chapter? Also, yes. I will say, I think you guys asked me last month what I wanted for this chapter. And it was Reiner surviving and the Titan Curse ending. So based on that, you would think that I liked it. But I'm not quite happy with the execution. And I think that's an overarching theme for most of the people who've read the chapter, I think. So what about you?
Was it Renan who put it the best? I think that just, it wasn't the content, it was the execution. And this was a really hard chapter for me. Like, when I talk about it with people, I want to give a shout out to the Nasty podcast because I was his guest this month, which was a blast. And, going over the chapter and talking about the elements that happened, I liked most of them. Like thinking back over it, like you were saying, Luna, you get kind of emotional. I mean, there were lots of moments I can pinpoint that I just absolutely loved. But there's an equal number that just, I don't think I actually slammed my head into the desk when we were reading the chapter live, but there were a few times that I really wanted to. So I like what Puppet said too. I think earlier today, Puppet said something like the intent. I think the intent was okay, but the execution was just not there. So I gave it on a scale from 1 to 5, I gave it a really generous 3. What did you give it, Luna?
I think I gave it a 2 out of 5, but last month was a 1 out of 5, but also a 1 out of 10. I'd say this one was more a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, and I gave it a 7. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Well, we liked it better. We liked it better than the poll.
You did. I didn't. Yeah.
Right. Do you want to talk about the poll?
The poll. Okay, so for how many years has the poll been a thing now? 3, 4?
Formally since chapter 91. We started in 86, but as a more formal thing.
Yes.
91.
Okay, and the most we have ever gotten was around 2,000 entries. Now, last month it was already more, and this month we're probably close to 16,000.
Yeah. Think about that for a minute. The average was 2,000 to 3,000, usually 2,200. And 16 almost before we close, it'll be 16,000 this month.
It's insane. So many people. And No, I know that people have been speculating that there were bots. I went through the entries. Doesn't seem like it. So
No.
people had a lot of thoughts they wanted to tell us and the rest of the fandom, apparently. But yeah, the pull rank. So our previous lowest rated chapters were 91, which was the shift to the Marley arc with all these new characters we didn't know. That had a 3.4, and the Haha Pie chapter 126 had an average of 3.5. Now, this chapter, so far, the poll hasn't closed, but like with almost 16,000 votes, I don't think it's going to change much. The current score is 2.91. Not even a passing score, not even above average.
I think it's a little unfortunate that that's our measure, the 1 to 5 rate the chapter, because looking at the results, it looks like those ones, a lot of them anyway, were knee-jerk reactions. Like, people are just they didn't like it. They gave it a 1. But later on in the poll where we asked things like, "How did it change your feelings about the series?" or "How did this change how you view Eren?" When we asked very specific questions about the manga and specific points of this chapter that we heard complaints about, I thought that the reaction was much more balanced. 1/3 of the people felt this way, 1/3 felt that way. It was definitely, I think, a really good poll for gauging what people liked and didn't like. The part of the poll where we asked about specific plot points was interesting. We went through the chapter. I think Crunch did this, and Mikasa being the one to kill Eren, her being the key, Ymir loving King Fritz. We went through and kind of outlined the beats of the story, the main topics. Almost every one of those was disliked more than liked. The only one that had a generally positive reaction was Mikasa under the tree at the end. I think that's one part that people accepted, regardless of how they feel about Mikasa. That one was not quite as disliked as all the others. So I've never been in a fandom before. I've never been through a series ending. I know you went through Game of Thrones, and a lot of our listeners went through Tokyo Ghoul. How much of this is normal, do you think, where people just want stuff they don't get and they just get really angry?
Depends on the series, because I remember, well, I mean, Full Metal Alchemist ending, I don't remember an overall, like, oh, this manga sucks now. But I remember Naruto, I think that had the benefit of not ending on the final bad guy fight. That finished, and then it was like between the two friends slash protagonist antagonist, and it ended kind of like in theme with the series, fighting but friendship kind of thing. So yeah, the ending wasn't great, but it it kept in line with the overall vibe and message of the series. Plus, I will say the anime ending really made me cry because it was just the main character's wedding. There was nothing special about it per se, but it was like coming full circle, and I probably ugly cried at that, even though it was, at face value probably a mediocre episode at best. Yeah, Game of Thrones, that was a long and steady decline, and it just got worse with every new episode. Which maybe that's how people feel about this manga as well. Like, it used to be really good, and at the end, not so much. I keep do you know the meme, the drawing of the horse, where
Oh,
the
right,
first half
right,
of
right.
the horse is great, and then the other part of the horse is like drawn by a 2-year-old. Yeah.
I think a lot of people view it that way. I'm a little more generous than that. But what's funny is that I almost feel guilty liking this chapter, and I do like it. I mean, I we'll get into the parts that I think the universal fandom has just kind of had freakouts about. I totally get it. And people who had a favorite character who was just, totally ripped up and thrown in the garbage can, like, I get it. I mean, it's such a hard chapter.
Yeah, I think looking at the chat, people are also saying like a Tokyo Ghoul was also going down the drain for a couple chapters. So yeah, I think probably if people feel the series is already on a decline, then
I was thinking though, like, I think the in the conversations that I've had with people, what I keep coming back to, or what keeps coming up, is all the plot threads that Isayama opened up that never went anywhere. And I think that that's I think about like superhero comics. I don't read a lot of comic books anymore, but I did as a kid. And it's like they get rebooted every decade or so, or canon gets reset, or because it's hard. I don't know. Isayama did not know when this series was ending for a very long time. And it's like he set things up that he might want to use or that he thought he could use, give himself little outs, little escape hatches, trap doors, whatever, to make the story interesting down the road. And then when the ending date was picked, he couldn't wrap them up. I mean, that's what I think happened.
Mm, I think he set a goal for himself in mind. Like, I'm going to end this at a certain chapter, and I know I can get the main story I want to tell in those couple of chapters. But that doesn't give him a lot of time or space to kind of really elaborate on certain events or characters' feelings, or have certain events take a little bit more time than others. It's just, this needs to happen. These are the main story beats, and this is basically all he had time for, I'm guessing. I don't think.
Are you beating your table as you say that? Hearing you like thump, thump, thump.
No, but I don't know if he was rushing it per se, but I do think he wanted to set himself a goal of like, by then I'm done with this. I think he is ready to move on. And I think, with the time he gave himself, maybe this was all he could fit in. Like, he kind of crippled himself.
Didn't he even say at one point that it was easy to write the action, but it was the emotions getting to the action that he couldn't always gauge? He might think something takes 2 pages to cover, but the emotions of it for it to be believable takes more. And I think that's what's happened is a lot of the emotions got dropped because they take so much time. And even what we read from the editor about how they weren't sure how many pages this was going to be. They had a few extra pages to work with. And it must have been like fitting a puzzle piece together. Like you have all these important puzzle pieces that you want to use. And well, this one's going to take 3 panels. I don't have 3 panels. I only have 1 panel. Well, this one will take 1 panel. Kind of feels like some of that happened where trying to make everything fit so that it would be in the Tankobon and in Besatsu Shonen correctly. He had to have wanted to do more with Historia. There's no way this was all he was going to do, but that would have taken too much.
I mean, that's what I want to think, but I'm not sure if he wanted to do more. Maybe I feel like he's ready to move on, at least from this. That's the overall impression I got from interviews he's been doing the past 2 years or so. And which is fine. He's been doing this for over a decade without a break, basically. Like, I would want to move on too, probably, if I were him. It's just, I'm also okay if like people are like burning out or like losing interest to just step away from it, maybe come back later. But I guess he just wanted to finalize it.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that they would have preferred him take a break than do what he did. I wonder, like in reality, what that would have been like, though, for the series just to go on hiatus for a year. I can't imagine.
I mean, I'm familiar with series that have gone on hiatus for like a couple of years on end, so
What happens to the fandom? Do they just take a break? Do they all come back again at the end? I remember the break from like season 1 to season 2. We
mm.
lost so much of the fandom. It just lasted too long. People lost interest.
Yeah, that's true. I think it depends on how good the new material is, because you also gain new fans over the years, right? Like, I wasn't there in 2013 yet. I hadn't even heard of the series back then. So I'm sure people dropped off, but more people found out about Attack on Titans, as with other series, I guess. But like for Berserk, I think there's just like a big wave of attention when a new chapter drops, but like in between, not so much. It's kind of more quiet. Not much going on in the fandom, I'm guessing. Maybe that's what our fandom will be like until the final season part 2 drops sometime this winter.
Yes. Yeah, at least we have that to look forward to, Like it's ending. We've got a little bit of retrospective stuff to do, and we got the anime to look forward to. All right, well, let's get into it then. So the chapter kicks off with Kid Eren and Armin having a walk and talk while they age. And I think I think both of us expected that this would be an Armin-centric chapter since last month was Mikasa. This one would be Armin.
Mm.
And I think we both expected it to be in paths. But I wasn't expecting like half the chapter to be devoted to this by any stretch. I don't know. What did you think?
No, I didn't necessarily expect this. Like
Did you
then
like
this
it?
like I mean, part of me does, but then I like the idea of it, but then I look at what is being said, like the actual text, and I'm like, I'm not so sure. But yeah, them having as kids and like seeing all the things that they wanted to as kids and kind of living their dream in paths and having a heart to heart is in concept a good thing. There's just text wise, there's some weird stuff in there that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I wondered if like the specific ages that we saw, if they were significant. Like it's Kid Armin, when they're looking at the flaming water, and then goes on to like just pre-time skip Armin to talk about Mikasa, and then finally ends up with Soldier Armin to talk about no, it's Soldier Armin when he talks about Mikasa. And I didn't know if that was significant or not, but I did think it was interesting to kind of look at what the conversation was while they were at those specific ages. And I mean, this is something I liked. Like, I really enjoyed that Armin got to do everything he wanted to do, probably because I like Armin so much as a character. But I think this was the start of like the overarching theme of let's be really nice to Eren too, which I'm sure some people were happy about. But yeah, it was a lot of missteps for a lot of people, the way some of this went down.
I mean, this was still at the point where they were going to kill Eren. Like they knew they had to stop him, and he's like, "Well," and then of course, afterwards, after everyone has turned back from being a Titan, yeah, that whole Eren, you were such a great guy. Oh no, why did you become such a suicidal bastard? You poor thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it doesn't quite fit with the hey, 80% of the world has just been killed. What a great guy you are. Awesome.
I thought what we could do is look at those reveals because that conversation is where we got all of the reveals. And I made a list of the things that were revealed. And like I said when we started this, most of them were disliked. And I guess I would like to know what you thought about them. So, the first reveal was that OG Ymir loved Karl Fritz. How did you feel about that one?
Awesome. Couldn't have been better.
No, really. Come on. I mean,
Yeah, it's listen, I understand the whole concept of Stockholm syndrome but there was nothing nice or redeemable or anything about this guy, and he he burned her village, murdered her parents, ripped her tongue out, used her as a breeding machine, basically raped her. And then when she sacrificed his life for him, he was still like an asshole about it. Like there's nothing that we have seen from him that makes me think there's anything to love about him.
I don't know that in Stockholm type situations there ever is anything to love in those persons,
I
but
feel like you in Stockholm syndrome, you kind of see a different side to that person, right? Like not only the bad, like every person has a good and a bad side, but with Stockholm syndrome, you kind of start to sympathize with the good side more. I don't think we ever got that good side for the OG Carl Fritz.
I think for me, I would have rather it not be that she loved him, but that she was enslaved by him, just because I think it's a little bit tacky to like drop in something like this and not dwell on it. Like this, you just don't drop that as two panels
Yeah.
and then turn your attention to something else. Like I think that if it's that kind of a situation, that it deserves a little more sensitivity. And I don't know that Isayama has the skills for that or had the interest in that or had the time for that. And so it just came off really distasteful just to drop that in there. And then it left the fandom kind of spinning around trying to, once we found out the next reveal, which was that Mikasa was the key, how it connected. And those lines weren't drawn very well either, why Mikasa was the key.
Okay. So I have some thoughts on that, but I think it made more sense if she just was like, we knew she craved love, right? She didn't have anyone. Her parents were gone. We saw her looking longingly at that kissing couple that in 122. So we knew she longed for love. I can understand that Fritz was probably the closest thing to it, but like uh, maybe that's like the only connection she had. But then I think, what about her children? Like, I'm sure she loved them.
Well, and it may be that he loved the children. Like, when we have seen him with those kids, he seemed to take care of them. I
Okay.
mean, who knows?
He forced them to eat their mother. Like,
Well, he did.
I mean, and we see him like in that one panel where like Eren says that she loved him. Like, we see him with his whole harem, like adoring
Yeah,
him, not
yeah.
paying any attention to her, and her looking at the baby like all forlorn. And I'm like, what about this screams love?
Nothing. I mean, it was supposed to be presented as something horrific. Aaron's face when he says it, Armin's face when he realizes. I mean, this was presented as a very bad thing. All capitals, all capitalized words there. This was not a good thing. This was a very bad thing. It's just, it didn't get the attention that, very bad things deserve. But that's like the first of many things in this chapter that didn't get the
Yeah.
attention that very bad things deserve. It just wasn't framed as a very bad thing. It was framed as a statement of fact.
I will just say that the parallel with Mikasa is more, I think that Ymir saw someone else that had a very strong connection to someone and could never wish harm on them, but also realized that their actions were wrong and cruel, which I'm sure OG Ymir also saw about Karl Fritz. But she couldn't bring herself to stop.
She had no ability to draw lines. Mikasa did.
Yeah, Mikasa could look at her feelings for Eren, but also at what is right, the right thing to do, and chose the right thing to do. While Ymir felt so strongly tied to Karl Fritz that she couldn't. So when she saw someone who she felt had such a strong tie to another person but could do that, I'm guessing that's why Ymir chose Mikasa.
I also think, and again, it was never touched on, but I have to think that it was
Mm.
involved in the Ackerman power. Like, okay, Mikasa also had a very traumatic childhood event where her parents were murdered in front of her eyes. We've got 2 kids, OG Ymir and Mikasa, orphaned at a very young age under horrific circumstances. Eren bludgeoning the people who were attacking her. As the manga went on, that was framed more and more negatively, or Mikasa started to see it differently, not as a pure salvation, but also the fact that, maybe her boyfriend's a little crazy as well, and she was able to kind of take that information, process it, and get a better picture of who Eren was. So, I don't want to say that there were no similarities, but Mikasa also had a lot of people on Titanfolk have called her slave Casa forever because of that slave like devotion to Eren. But she was able to see him more accurately and make the determination there. And not only that, but that Ackerman power, she had the ability to kill him. Not just the will to do it, but the physical ability. And I think it wasn't mentioned, but I would like to think that when OG Ymir was in Paz land looking for escape and, scanning the Eldians of the world, she saw this couple of children and recognized the Ackerman as being, that their relationship was one of devotion, but that the Ackerman would be the one to do the killing. I don't know. I feel like a lot of this chapter was like reading it and then inserting 4,000 pages of
Yeah.
narrative to try to figure out what it was all about.
I mean, like, she could have made sure that like a non-royal inherited the founding titan and then have someone else kill them, right? I mean, it could have gone to an Eldian baby,
But I don't
allegedly, and they
think
could have killed
anybody
the
but an
baby.
Ackerman, nobody but an Ackerman could have killed
A baby?
the Titan.
A titan baby?
Okay. Here's how wait a minute, Luna. How I see this is that a situation had to happen where the centipede got separated from founder Titan. Eren had to create a situation where that centipede, that parasite, was outside of the founding Titan body, and the founding Titan had to die at that moment so that
Right.
that parasite could not continue. That centipede, that parasite, had not been outside of its host in 2,000 years. So somebody like Eren, in a situation like this, who is a tremendous, I've always given Eren a lot of credit for like his battle skills and his ability to fight. Like, I feel like he kind of came up with the scenario to separate those two, and then
Okay, but do we
Mikasa. So
even really
if it
know
was a baby, we don't. But if it
what
was a
what caused the
baby,
centipede to like flung out of Eren?
well, we saw what happened. It was exploding the nave. I think Eren just had to trust that his group of friends was going to try to stop him, and that somehow in the stop him would be getting that centipede, that parasite, separate from his body, and that they would do the right. I mean, that's how I read it. They would do the right thing and kill him. He had to create a situation that would make it bad enough that this series of events would happen. And then it would be up to Mikasa to make the kill and to stop the Titan curse. Because Ymir's goals were not genocide. Ymir's goal was end the Titan curse. Eren's goal was end the Titan curse. Genocide is the way he chose to do it. But again, we can read this 1,000 different ways because who knows? It's not spelled out.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, Eren was still able to transform in this colossal titan, right? After the worm Halu-chan was expelled from him.
I don't have any issue with that though, because he was still a Titan shifter, just like Reiner and everyone else was a Titan shifter. It was just that parasite. I think Gabby called it the source of the Titan powers. Like Gabby became Armin for a brief moment and identified what it was and that it needed to be out of the body and don't let it back in. So I guess the hints are there.
Okay. You are doing a better job rationalizing all this mess than I am.
I have rationalized every bit of this. Thank you very much. Well, I take that back because one thing I have not rationalized is the Bert reveal. And I'm curious, how did you take that? Because we got that famous ... where we get to fill in the holes. Was
Mm.
Eren the one that changed the course of events that killed his mom? Or is he just aware that OG Ymir, that the steps that he would take would involve that?
I mean, the look of horror on Armin's face implies to me very heavily that it was Eren who did that, not Ymir.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, Eren knew that Armin had to inherit the Colossus, so it wasn't Bertolt's time to die. But did he make her change directions? Yes. Specifically towards his mom? Maybe? I'm not sure. I mean, he said made her go that way. I feel like it's strongly implied again that he sent Dinah to eat Carla.
I don't know that it's strongly implied that he sent her to eat Carla. I feel like it might have been an unintended consequence, but
I
who knows?
mean,
Because it
why
wasn't
would he
spelled
send her
out.
that way, not a different way?
I mean,
Why
the
would he
only way to
send?
go in was towards the people, so he had to go
Yeah,
in.
but
I don't know.
specifically towards like the house, like
Hmm.
Eren's house. Like, come on, look at the panel.
We did ask this on the poll, and 41% agree with you that he did whatever it took to follow the path before him. And only 23% agree with me that it was an unforeseen consequence. And then 35% that he has mashed potatoes for brains at this point. So who knows?
I think that was my initial reaction as well. But
Yeah.
now, reading it again, I'm like, nah, he did it.
Mm.
He killed his mom. It all started with him. It'll be so fun to watch the anime again from season 1 and see like Eren cry about his mom dying and be like, "What are you crying about? This is all your fault. This is what you wanted."
Oh, it's not that simple. I mean,
I know, I know, I know.
but yeah. So the next reveal was a reveal that I think was most widely panned. I'm going to say more for how it was presented than the actual content, that Eren loved Mikasa. And I want you just to go ahead and say it. Say right manga, because did I
Mm-hmm.
not last
Mm-mm.
month did I
Mm-mm.
not did I not dig my heels in and call it a reciprocal relationship? And everyone told me I was crazy, that it was her delusion.
No, not everyone. I think James was pretty on board with.
James was on my side, thank goodness, but I know in our podcast last month, Aluola was on my side, but you and Saflora pretty definitely thought that it was Mikasa's delusion. Saflora had mentioned that she never saw their relationship as romantic at all on his side, and I mean, I guess I can see it both ways. I didn't see it as romantic until 123. At
Hmm.
that point, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. This is an Eremika endgame."
I mean, it's a shonen, so it was always going to be endgame. It's just it wasn't developed very well because all we got from Eren was a stare that could potentially, yeah, could always be interpreted in two different ways, in my opinion. So to have him break down as like the ultimate beta incel this chapter and be like, no, I don't want it to be with someone else.
That I was not expecting. Like, I was expecting a confession, but the way Isayama did it, I don't know. Do you think he was trying to be funny? Is it possible he was
Oh
trying to
yeah,
be funny?
I think this is part of his humor,
Mm.
his dark humor that he likes so much. So it's endgame, and he left her all this time, and he never said a word, and it was never properly developed as a relationship. I don't consider this a love story. Come for me, James. I don't care. Yeah, that's where I'm at. at. Like, I know shonens aren't really good at romance, but this was probably the worst I've ever seen. Not saying it's the worst out there, just the worst that I've ever seen.
Wow. Those are big words.
I am standing by them. I said what I said.
Well, let's take a step back for a minute. Underscore said that there's a question in the chat regarding Eren killing his mom. So, Underscore, are you there?
I am here. We have 2 questions now regarding Eren killing his mom.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
And you can help us answer them.
They are from Ricah. Why do you think it was important for Isayama to have Eren be responsible for killing his mom, indirectly or directly? And Saturni asked a very similar question. Do you think the Smiling Titan situation was necessary in the end?
You want to go first, Luna?
So Eren killed his mom. We'll leave it in the middle, whether he intended to or not, and if it was necessary. For the end result, I don't think so, but I think to show what lengths Eren would go through to achieve this outcome, I think it was necessary that he would even sacrifice his own mother,
But not his friends.
but not his friends, not his waifu. But yeah, his mom, fuck her. I mean, she only gave him life. Fuck her. But Mikasa has to live. And Armin, and Reiner, and Annie, and Peak, because, well.
I Okay, so Saflora was our guest. Saflora was our guest for the chapter where we talked about this, and she was a huge Eren optimist. Saflora was somebody who I think she liked this chapter a lot. Like, she had given a lot of thought to his motivations. She kind of predicted this sort of LeLouch thing that happened, that he would be willing to rumble a hugely significant portion of the world to establish good things for his friends. And I remember asking her when we saw that little thumbnail of Dinah, do you think Eren killed his mom? And even she said, yes, I think he would. He's rumbling the world. What is one more person? Again, like you said, Lona, to show the depths of his devotion to his cause being end the Titan curse. Did
Hmm.
his mom have to die for him to end the Titan curse? Would he sacrifice his mom to end the Titan curse? It's not unreasonable to think yes. Now, was it necessary? No. To me, this was like a last minute pain amplifier that doesn't really accomplish anything. There's absolutely no reason. And it makes it hard to justify. Like, I get that Eren, the past, the present, the future are all one to him, but I don't know that the mechanics of the world were well explained enough to allow for him to be the person to control that.
Hmm.
So, to me, it was unnecessary complication. and just a pain amplifier just to make it that much worse. So since you're with us, Underscore, what do you think?
It wasn't really a mystery. I focused a lot upon that memory shard mystery, but it's nice to have it answered.
So you think it could have been 3 panels used for other things than establishing that the little thumbnail of Dinah was that Eren was the
Yeah.
killer of his mother?
It's a mystery that would work without being answered, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was speculated for a long time that he did, cause his mom to die.
But when I look at the list of questions I would have liked answered, that's not a top 5.
No. No, I think, like I said, it's just to show his determination to go through with this plan. Does it make a lot of sense? Probably not. But so do many other things. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
So the next thing this chapter revealed, as promised, was the final panel. And I think I didn't look it up. I wish I had. On our last chapter poll, we did ask what people thought the final panel would be, and Grisha holding Eren was one of the top answers. So while some people were disappointed, a lot of people, I would say 30% of the fandom kind of called it. I did see complaints that it wasn't like the last panel of the manga, like it wasn't placed at the very end. And I was reading on Twitter that Editor Kun commented on that. He said that, as they're arranging a chapter, it's not always, you can't always place things exactly where you think they're going to be, that it needed to be at that moment. I think I was expecting it to be more of like a time reset thing or whatever, not just more emphasis that Eren Yeager was born this way. So I was surprised in that regard, but not surprised who it was. What about you?
I mean, yeah, it made sense. It's always looked like Grisha holding Eren. So, and am I surprised it's not the final panel? No, because I mean, I understand him changing his mind and ending the series on a different note, but the implication of this panel, the the
Yeah.
you're free, so why did you want to genocide the entire world? Well, actually, Armin, I don't know. I just had to because I'm
Oh,
free
man.
to make that choice myself whether I want to genocide or not. Huh?
See, again, I think it
Again,
was
you're going to
more,
say good idea, terrible execution.
I think the you are free. I don't think, again, I think the intent was good. The execution was terrible. I think it was to speak to the fact that Eren's whole shtick growing up was to kill all the Titans and to, stop the cage that they were living in. And so, I think it was to emphasize that he was born this way. I don't know. I'll tell you what's funny is on the chapter poll, we spent hours together trying to get this chapter poll right. Guess what question we didn't ask? We didn't ask what you think of the final panel. So I have no way of gauging what the fandom thought about that.
See, this is what you get without me there.
I
Like
know, we
subpar.
try. We try.
No, in all seriousness, maybe people will put it in the write-ins. There's going to be a lot of write-ins though this month.
I know. Okay, so last month we had 4,000 some answers, and the write-in document, I think, Cloudy would know for sure, was 366 pages long. So we on the poll team, not me because I did a little bit. Cloudy did the heavy lifting here. Had to go through 366 pages of write-ins, and that didn't include the one-word answer. That only included the actual write-ins. So with 15,000 responses, let's do the math. Wait, Luna, I'm going to do math for you one last time.
Okay, good luck.
If it was 366 pages with 4,000, that means for 15,000, it's going to be at least 3 to 4 times that number. So we could end up with a 1,200 page comments document to go through. I see Cloudy in the chat screaming no.
Stop. They're all crying, the poll team.
Anybody would like to join the poll team? Please message me.
I think I'm as soon as the poll closes, I'm gonna leave the poll server again. I'm like, nope. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Escape. At least we don't have a deadline this time.
That's true.
We can take our time with it. And of course, Crunch, the last several months, Crunchwrap has been taking all the write-ins and formatting them into a PDF file and putting it on the web. And
I don't envy him for that. So, okay. Final thoughts though on this whole page. Like Eren saying, like he doesn't know why.
It's very unsatisfying. I mean, it felt to me like this was so. The big thing that this revealed is Eren's entire plan. And to me, it felt like a choose your own ending type of thing with his plan. Like his plan involved a little bit of Lelouch, a lot of bit of genocide. I would have done it anyway. I don't know why I did it. Like it was just such a big convoluted mess of reasons. And then to get I don't know and my head is just really messed up. I don't maybe some people will like it. Maybe I will like this someday because I do think trying to understand Eren Yeager would require like twisting my body into ways that it does not bend. So maybe he had to be vague on it, but it just
I
felt really
mean,
unsatisfying to me.
if Eren Yeager doesn't understand Eren Yeager, how are we supposed to?
Exactly. And I remember in previous conversations that we've had, we'd kind of throw our hands up and say, I don't know, maybe he's just not right in the head. And turns out, yeah, well, that's it. And I don't know how satisfying that is.
I wish I could ask Puppet because I thought he had a really good interpretation of what Eren meant by saying this.
We have 2 questions in the chat regarding Aaron's mindset, and we also have Linkspooky. I think Link is here. Why don't we go ahead and invite them into Zencaster, where we're doing our primary recording of this? Let's send an invite to Linkspooky and Puppet, and then we'll have Underscore read those questions, and we can discuss that for a few minutes. What do
Sure.
you think about that?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do that.
Okay, before we begin though, Link, I wanted you on because we got a comment on Paris, which is lovely. Paris, I really wish you could have been here with us. You're somebody whose name I love saying. I appreciate all your comments. But he also specifically said, I can't recall the name of the guest that compared Eren Yeager to Shinji Ikari, but reading the final chapter and really the final arc since 119 reminded me so much of Evangelion. For me, the two series are
definitely.
intrinsically linked. And I remember you saying that basically everything is either an Evangelion reference or what was the other one?
An Evangelion reference or, now I don't remember. Or a Godzilla reference.
Probably Godzilla. I can remember Firelord Sika being really excited about that.
All right. Well, I think we've got everything working. So, Underscore, why don't you go ahead and read the questions?
Yeah, the questions. I have to get my document here. It's regarding Eren's mindsets, and its first one is from Vital. Were you frustrated with who exactly was in control between Eren and Ymir? Was it a team effort? Was there a lead and a follow relationship going on? Do you guys think the final chapter makes it clear who really was in control?
But yeah, Link, your thoughts.
The torch is being passed to me. If Eren was being controlled by Ymir is probably the least interesting question to me, but I will try to answer it anyway. I think the only way this makes sense is if Eren is fully in control of his actions, because that's the way he can be held accountable for his actions. Because if there's anything influencing him that diminishes the purpose of the story, which I see it is like, why would Eren make the choice to destroy the world? And of course, like, I guess if I see it that way and the answer was, I don't know, then the story might not have accomplished that. But I think the best version of the story is Eren was using Ymir the same way. I mean, that's what was set up, right? Eren was using Ymir the same way that the king was. And, like, he couldn't free her because he was making use of her too, and Mikasa was the only one who could, because there are some things I could explain very well, but Not that question.
You
Sorry.
haven't sniffed enough copium to make sense of it all. It's okay.
Copium. I think Eren was fully in control the entire time, and that's what he wanted to happen.
What about you, Puppet?
My read for the I don't know is that it's supposed to be that he doesn't know why he has the will and urge to go on for freedom. So, and then we get the "You're Free" final panel flashback. So I think it's supposed to be saying he's free to do what he wants, and he ended up choosing the rumbling. But the writing is so bad that you can easily get determinism, or that he gave him to fate out of that when it's supposed to be about the opposite, freedom. I think the idea works, but it's just presented so poorly. You can get freedom or determinism out of it.
Yeah, I saw it too as the answer of that it wasn't, he doesn't know why he was born wanting freedom the way he did. And with that fire in his soul, like that's what he didn't know he was born with, not necessarily, why it led to world genocide.
Can I weigh in on that? Because I actually have something to say
ahead.
that. I mean, I think the fact that he goes, I don't know why I want freedom, is supposed to be like the signal to the audience that freedom, Eren's bullshit about freedom is, in fact, bullshit. Like, rhetoric is rhetoric and therefore empty. Like, what is freedom? My very complicated take. But the thing is, Eren is doing the opposite of what Grisha told him to do, which is Eren was like, I was born into the world for this specific purpose, to follow this predestined path ahead of me, and I had no choice but to end the world. And while he's saying that, Grisha says the opposite, which is Eren was free, therefore he could have become whatever he wanted to do, which therefore means that Eren wasn't predestined to do all the things he didn't do. He just subscribed to predestination because, that made him feel special. And, that reminds me of the Grisha Jaeger and the Magath chapter. No, not Magath, the other guy.
Shadis.
The
Shadis.
Yeah, Shadis.
Sorry.
Like, who ended up helping Eren more? Grisha, who, forced the attack titan on him and forced him into this position, or like Shadis, who was just kind of a normal guy. And I think part of the themes of the series is, does Eren want to be like a normal person capable of loving someone and having a normal life, or does he want to be Mr. Special? My choice saves the whole world but also dooms it because I am LeLouch Titan
and
guy.
which do you think he wants to be?
The most specialist baby in the whole world. Eren wasn't born that way. Eren's just like a brat.
And you love him. I think you need to go ahead and let's he's your favorite. He was at the time of our recording. You mentioned he was one of your favorite characters of all time. I think. Am I
Yeah, he is. He's still my favorite. I thought the landing was fine. I thought that's what Eren would do. Okay, so here's the thing with me. I thought Eren was always going to end up at that point when asked what he was gonna do, he was just gonna make up a bunch of bullshit because Eren himself doesn't know. Eren just wants to do the special thing. Eren doesn't want to be Eren. Eren wants to be Godzilla. And okay, I'm gonna circle back around. So you asked me why Ymir, if people asked if Ymir was in control, and relating that to Evangelion. So in the third Rebuild movie, which is spoilers, but the movie came out in 2015, so I don't care. Third Rebuild movie, Shinji basically ends the world on accident and kills 90% of the population, which is what I think the 80% of the population thing comes from Evangelion. But anyway, he gets in the giant robot, and the point is, the entire movie is about Shinji avoiding the guilt for doing this thing, because he's like, well, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't know that would happen. But also, when he was getting in the robot, what he yelled was, I don't care if everyone else dies. I just want to save this one person.
Everything is an Evangelion reference then. What?
Everyone dies, and he gets to save Rei. And then the next movie is literally about, like, okay, well, everyone's dead now, Shinji, and you got what you wanted. And Shinji's like, no, I didn't want that. What are you talking about? And he just avoids responsibility for one whole movie. So what Eren is doing in 139, in my reading, is like, what are you talking about? I didn't want to kill everyone. I'm not a bad person. It comes up with 7 different reasons.
Well, at least Eren takes accountability then. He's better than Shinji in that sense.
Yeah, it's true. Eren at least dies. That's my final statement on the series is at least they killed that bitch Eren.
My favorite, but also that bitch Eren.
That was my one ending requirement for the series is I want that bitch Eren to die, and that was what I got. Everything else is just details. Okay, I'll stop talking now. I'm sorry.
Was there another question, Underscore?
Yes, there was one related to from Commandants. Did Eren mean that he was quote-unquote slaved to the future he saw, and that Ymir had planned that its linear quote-unquote timeline when he said, quote, my head is all messed up, Ymir made it so there is no past or future, end quote.
Read the first part of that again. I just want to make sure.
Did Eren mean he was slave to the future he saw?
I don't know. Puppet, did you want to start with this one?
Yeah, I think that's really up for debate whether he actually was, but like Linkspooky was saying, he certainly chose to be at the very least. Like Mikasa's vision, is that canon, alternate reality? Is that what actually could have happened? I think is the main place where that discussion would center. But yeah, I think he chose to be whether he needed to be or not.
Okay. So if he was a slave, he chose to be. I was thinking about something Soul said, that Eren having free will was it was the foundation of every theory we ever thought, that Eren was free. And did this chapter undo that? I would like to say no, that he had a choice. But like Puppet was saying, I don't know that I could prove that, aside from just, I want it to be that way.
Well, didn't Soul himself say that, Isayama watched all of his videos on Eren and decided to do the exact opposite?
Apparently, that's what Soul thinks.
Yeah. we have it. We have an audio recording of that, so we have receipts. But what would I say on this? I don't think he was a slave to the future. I think he made up his mind on what he wanted to do. I think everything did get muddled, like because he could travel to the past and influence things, and then also, you could see what would happen in the future. I think it's also hard to keep track of everything if, like, time kind of it gets squashed together into one big mess. So I think maybe like you said, like he got scrambled eggs for brains at the end, but I don't feel like he was a slave. Like I said, this was a choice that he made. I feel like maybe he was destined maybe to, or chosen by Ymir to end the Titan curse, because Ymir chose him and Mikasa. But other than that, I think he chose how to go about it. Like, this was all his own choice. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I saw Linkspooky raise her hand, so I think she has something to say.
Well, I would like to hear, because Linkspooky is somebody, she's been a meta writer on Tumblr for years, somebody I have enjoyed, whose meta I have enjoyed reading, and there has been no 139 meta at all that I've seen. Cough, cough.
I just finished writing it. I did it all morning, so I'd have stuff to say for this.
I would like, we will give you the floor for about 4 minutes.
4 minutes? Okay, time me, and tell me to shut up if I go too long.
But I would mostly just like to know how you felt about the ending. Did it end the way you expected it to? Were you satisfied? Just kind of like that sort of thing. But you can completely disregard that and go in any direction you want.
I think it's very dissatisfying for, like, the world it built around, because, like you said, it just time skips to when they're apparently in peace talks again, and that just wouldn't happen if 90% of humanity got destroyed. But, like, I never actually read Attack on Titan because of the political conflict shown in the series. Like, every time you guys said that, like, the rumbling was dumb, and it's weird that they skipped straight to the war and we didn't get to see any of the diplomacy. I was like, yeah, but I didn't think Isayama would ever show it because he's not good at writing it in a compelling way. But I think if you see Attack on Titan as, okay, well, to connect it back to Evangelion again, Evangelion, the world building, the giant robots, the angels, it actually doesn't fucking matter. Like, they go into it a little bit, but the world building is inconsistent and doesn't matter because we're seeing it through the eyes of, like, a 15-year-old boy who just does not care. He is 15 and he doesn't care about the politics of the world or the secret organization that's trying to destroy the world, or, like, the UN and the giant robots and whether nuclear missiles are okay to be used against agents. He just doesn't care. And so if Eren is Shinji, and Eren is also a 15-year-old boy who just does not care about the greater implications of the world and his actions, it makes sense that we don't see, like, what happens to the world after this, and we only see, like, we follow Eren's story from beginning to end. And I mean, that's also, like, it kind of makes sense the story cuts off at this point, like, because last chapter it said, to the boy who sought freedom, goodbye. So, like, Eren's dying now, so the story he sees is, like, suddenly cut off. So I think I'm with Montaku, where I've had enough copium to think the ideas behind it make sense. If you read it as, like, Bill Dung's Roman, where it's about Eren growing up, or rather, Eren completely failing to grow up, which is why we see him at the end make the choice which destroys the world. It works that way, and I think it also works emotionally, because I saw, like, a million people criticizing, like, the choice to go with Eremika for the ending, and how it was, like, suddenly changing the focus to Eremika at the last place, but, like, that's been there since the beginning. The story...
It's been there since the beginning.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I'll agree on. And okay, can I just mention one thing? Like, we were trashed on 4chan, trashed for thinking Eren Hisu was, like, bullshit, and they call this, like, delusional old fans who are out of touch, all sorts of, like, misogynistic things. And I hope 4chan is listening now. They're probably not, but if you are, ha, ha.
Let's not antagonize them, please.
Well, it's over. It's done. They don't have anything.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, if it's written as the fact that they could never get together, so the whole story is explaining why they didn't get together. So it makes sense that, one, they don't get together, two, Eren just doesn't talk about his relationship with Mikasa or do anything at all, because he's, a 15-year-old boy and therefore can't talk about his feelings. So, like, I think all of these ideas were set up by the beginning, and we got to the end of the Eren fails to grow up story, and Eren dies at the end, and he fails to grow up, and he actively made the world a worse place because he didn't mature and see the conflict for what it was. He only ever saw the world through his own eyes, which is funny because they gave him omniscience, I guess. But so I think it works beginning to end as Eren's story, especially about the story about how Eren sucks really badly, and the reasons why he suck are varied and complicated. But yeah, as a story of a greater world, I don't think it works as well, because like you said, everything interesting they introduced about Marley, everything interesting about Reiner's character, Jean's character, even, like, Armin, they cut off in the end. So I think they only nailed Eren and Mikasa sort of hard, and even with Eren being nailed I think it's pretty subtextually there that Eren's just, like, a child throwing a temper tantrum trying to destroy the world. Even if I think it's there, the framing for him loosens for, like, no reason at all, because up to this point it's like, Eren, you're being a horrible monster, nobody wants you to do this, stop. And then suddenly becomes, oh, thanks for destroying everything, Eren. I'm like, what? You guys were calling him a monster, like, 131, the chapter that I was on, they were calling him, they were like, everyone was calling for him to stop, and everyone was like, you don't do this, and they knew that he was doing it for them, and he didn't want... Here's my thing in 139, I don't get why the revelation that he was doing it for them was suddenly a revelation, because literally, he said when he was that he was exterminating everybody outside the islands
Right.
for his friends. So I don't get how that was a change. Like, you guys knew that from the beginning. Why would you suddenly change your mind? So that doesn't work. The lightning on framing, Eren's framing doesn't work. But I think Mikasa's thing works all the way through, and that's like if you build the themes of the series on Eren and Mikasa and how Mikasa grew up and killed Eren, and how Eren didn't grow up and he died, that narrative is solid, and everything else is just kind of falls to the wayside. Okay.
Oh, and Puppet is raising his hand. I think he has something
Puppet
to say.
a bad mic, but thoughts. Go ahead, Puppet.
For the idea of Eren doing it for his friends coming as a shock, I agreed on my first read. It doesn't really fit. But I think it's not news to them. I mean, the chapter starts with Armin and Eren discussing this, and Armin's like, I understand your plan was to do all this to save us, but was it really necessary? So in the same chapter, Armin recognizes that and still shows horror when Eren mentions how many people need to die. The change in Armin only really happens once Eren opens up about himself and how hard it's been for him, which I know how boo-hoo hard for him to kill a ton of people. But Armin in that moment, I think, understands his friend and realizes, okay, this is what he's doing. I'll at least give him some peace and make the best of the situation I can. I don't think the Code Geass plan or doing it for his friends is what caused their reactions. But again, it's very easy to read that way, and I did at first as well because Isayama is a bad writer.
Also, shout out to Puppet for his poll. Did you see it, Mom?
His poll?
Yeah. Who's the biggest fuckboy, Eren or Shinji?
Oh, I did not see that. What was the result?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's still open. It's pinned in the voice chat text channel.
Okay, I'll have to go. I've been trying not to multitask and pay attention to like just a few things here, but okay. So Linkspooky, for the series as a whole, you think it worked, but this chapter derailed?
I think it loosened the framing instead of landing and getting a 10, it like landed and face planted and it got it knocked down to like a 7 because of the bad landing.
You know what? I like that.
Also, just on the poll results real quick.
Uh-huh.
Who is the bigger fuckboy, Eren or Shinji? 80 versus 20%. Eren. So,
Well-
which is weird because, like you said, Shinji had no accountability. I've never seen any Evangelion, so don't quote me on this. But I
Wow.
also read in the chat that he apparently masturbated to a girl who was in a coma, and I'm
Yep.
like,
It's a metaphor.
and even and Eren is apparently the worst fuckboy according to all of you. What the?
I mean, to be fair, Shinji's 15 and Eren's like, what, 20?
Chapter poll this month. Was Isayama too soft on Eren? 65% said yes. And is there anybody in this chat right now who thinks no? I can't imagine there is. Oh, I see a few me's popping up in the voice chat, but I was happy. I was happy to see that 65% agreed that he was too soft on him. All right. Well, that was fun. So I think we have finished up the Eren discussion.
Yes. Can we take like a short break, real quick?
Yeah.
Play some music.
We'll be back in 5 minutes. Welcome back. Underscore. I can't believe you let Kevin sing in our channel while we were gone.
Yeah, it was a delight to have Kevin. Delight to have Kevin come up here and
Live
sing for us.
entertainment. I'm sorry I
what
missed
do
it.
you want, really?
Where else? I mean, I have never been on a SNK discussion with live music, so Kevin, I appreciate it.
I mean, what SNK video podcast, anything has live music numbers in it? I mean, this is clearly the top. Right,
Yes, and we do have. Hopefully, Craigbot is running. So even though we didn't catch that on Zencaster, we hopefully have it on Craigbot. So, okay. So what questions did you have?
It's regarding the talk with Eren and Armin. I put it as a category. It's 3 questions. The first one is from Xlash, and it states, "How do you feel about Eren LeLouch?"
I
Didn't we
was
kind of...
wrong. I was wrong though, Luna. Let me just come out and say it.
Okay.
That's
There's a
probably
history
what-
here. I don't know.
I don't know that there's history here, but I would think I think Xlash would be very happy to hear me say these words. I never thought there would be a LeLouch. I never thought Eren was smart enough for a LeLouch. I never thought he was a planner. I never thought he was. To me, Eren is a sledgehammer. I'm kind of along the same lines that Linkspooky is. That his big thing is to just bash things until they work. And what he did was he just bashed things until it worked. So Eren's whole LeLouch, like, are we even convinced there? To me, it was like when he decided to rumble the world, it was mixing business with pleasure. The business was and the Titan curse, but he got to pick the way he wanted to do it. He did it through genocide. And the 80%, I don't know, accidental LeLouch. I'm just rambling at this point. I was wrong. Apparently, he did have a LeLouch-like plan in everything he was doing to make his friends look good. So I don't like it, but it's the story. Yes.
Okay. I'm guessing that's the answer Xlash wanted.
I don't know. I would just go with I was wrong. Was not expecting a LeLouch of any sort. Even a half-assed one like we got.
Dimitri asks, who is LeLouch and what did they do?
Oh,
LeLouch
Underscore. Let's let Underscore, because he's
Okay.
a Code Geass guy.
I am not a Code Geass guy. I don't know how you...
I thought you were watching it. I thought, weren't you watching it with Velocious?
Oh, no, I'm watching it with Xlash because it is punishment. But spoilers for those who haven't seen Code Geass. But Lelouch basically kind of sacrifices himself in the end in a secret plan where he convinces his friends to kill him to the betterment of the world. But
yeah, a common enemy, right?
Yeah, a common enemy kind of deal. It isn't exactly the same as in Attack on Titan, really, because Eren actually kills 80% of the world.
And Eren wasn't trying to make a better world. He was trying to make his world, which is not a LeLouch.
LeLouch only threatened the nukes. But the next question, if you want to hear them. Yeah.
Yes.
It's from Ricah. We have 2 questions for Ricah, actually, regarding this. And I feel like we actually answered one of them, but we can go over them. Do you think the whole 80-20 genocide versus survival bit was Isayama being conscientious of the fandom and the factions that emerged? Kind of like
Was he being conscientious of the fandom? Like he kind of rewrote the ending to satisfy as many people as he could?
Playing both sides, basically.
I don't know. I'm going to say a little bit yes.
I think he went with a full, he said that, right, in an interview, that he wanted to kill everyone by the end of the manga, but then he realized, as the fandom grew, that he couldn't do that anymore. Like, he felt like he had some sort of obligation to end it on a better note. So I'm guessing his better note was 80-20. But I'm not sure if it was, like, a compromise for the different factions in the fandom, just as, the fandom as a whole.
Yeah, I do agree that the ending changed somewhat over the course of the last 11 years. And I just saw Paula's message fly across where she said that the mist was listed as an inspiration. And if this were a true mist ending, I mean, we did actually get the mist. We got the worm making mist that turned everyone to Titans. That them turning back into humans might have been an adjustment there. But if Isayama if Isayama was trying to play to all sides, he failed because nobody was happy. Like literally, well, I don't want to say nobody was happy. 22% of the fandom was happy. So he got 22%.
2080 to 20.
Yes.
It's coming back everywhere.
80% of the fandom, yeah.
That's a shame.
I mean, it was going to happen, though, because everybody wanted such wildly different things. People that wanted the A&R ending, people who wanted a peace ending, people who wanted just explanations of the world ending. None of us got it. So there was no way all of us were going to be happy.
No, but yeah, we got the not the most horrible ending, I think, but still a very unsatisfying for the majority of the fandom, I guess.
I wanted the answers ending. I just wanted things to make sense. I was fine with whichever way it went as long as it made sense.
I listened to the Titan Tea Time podcast, and usually they're very positive. Like, they gave last chapter a 10, where I gave it a 1 out of 10. So I thought maybe they would like it, but even they didn't give it like a full... I think they gave it like a 7 or an 8. Even they were not as happy as they could have been.
Patter's in the voice. He said James get a 7 and 8, and Patter gave it a 6 or a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, even our happiest happy. Who's the other person who's always happy? Quarren?
Oh yeah, Eric
yes.
Corn shit post, which I also read as Crone shits post in the beginning, but Eric, yeah, from
he's always a 10 of 10 kind of guy, and I think this time he was also a 7 of 10. So even the optimistic boys, even Puppet's always a happy guy, and I think Puppet's a mostly happy guy. Well, I see in the chat he gave it an 8. So even the most positive people had struggled on some points of this one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some really awful phrasing in this chapter, regardless of intent. So I'm guessing that's what most people had issue with, if they still like the overall ending.
So what was the other question, Underscore?
You kind of have breathed a little bit on this, but what do you think? This is a question from Ricah. Again, okay, but what do you think about Armin's words to Eren and the big controversial "thank you, Eren" moment? You kind of all went over this, but we can talk about it more if you feel like it.
So I definitely think, and we asked this in the chapter poll, did Armin actually thank Eren for the genocide? And only 12% so far of the 16,000 people who've responded said, yeah, that's what he said. I mean, the other 80, oh, wait, I said I was only going to do math once. What is 12% minus 100? 88?
Yes.
Okay. Woo. 88% recognized that it was not the intent. It was just horrible wording. I hated it. I hated him saying that. Like, I unequivocally wanted Eren's actions to be viewed negatively, and Armin didn't. Or I don't know. Like, okay, I said this on Nasty's podcast. I said it on Andrew's. I mean, I'm going to say it again. I understand Armin because Armin is the character who more than anyone else knew that you had to throw away your humanity to accomplish things. And he's also the least judgmental character. He had no issues with Annie, no issues with Bert. When he blew up the port in Liberia, his thoughts were immediately, oh, this is what you felt. When Eren boarded the airship after Liberia, Armin's the only one who managed to smile at him. When the warriors joined up, Armin again, no issue. He was one of those people who understood the hypocrisy of the pot calling the kettle black. Armin would do anything to achieve his goals. He understood Eren would do the same. Again, I can rationalize all this. So he would be in a situation where he could forgive Eren's methods or understand them, whatever. Does that make it right in the story? No. In the story, it just came off as completely tone deaf.
Yeah, I remember you saying that on Nasty's podcast, and it's kind of like I agree and I disagree, because he knows Eren is about to die and he wants to make him feel good in his final moments, but also just those words. It's why the whole chapter, I feel like everyone, like the warriors who lost not their family, but like at least their entire nation has been crumbled to dust. and the rest of humanity certainly has ended, except for the 20% that was far enough south from parody. Um, why are they all so thankful and happy and, you know,
I could have stomached
mourning
Armin.
Eren? Yeah, I just like I can understand Armin and
Right.
Mikasa, especially Mikasa, but like, and I can understand them like trying to make the final moments between them, and everything on a positive note, but not like this. This is just above and beyond what was necessary in that moment. And overall, this kind of makes me question Isayama a little bit. Like people say, "Oh, he didn't mean it like this. It was just bad phrasing, but bad choice of words." But I feel like he has done this multiple times now, where I'm like, you're taking, there's a line to cross, and he's crossed it just a little bit too far, a little bit too often for my liking. That I'm like, well, at what point is it like an unfortunate choice, and at what point is it his real opinion?
He started this story because he'd watched a documentary about a serial killer and he felt oddly sympathetic to this person, or not sympathetic. He wanted to explore, is it just an accident that I'm not a serial killer? He felt some sympathy, knew it was strange, and that was the ending he was going for. So, in retrospect, we should not have been surprised. We should not have been surprised that at the end, he tries to make the serial killer sympathetic. But it almost seems to me like a rapid course correction. Like it was like Eren was a monster for the last 30 chapters. And then suddenly at the 11th and a half hour, oh, wait, you're doing this for us.
Well,
Yay.
no, he's still the same monster, but all of a sudden everyone decides to kind of end things on a good note with him,
Yeah.
which is so strange. There's like you can have sympathy for like a killer because of their horrible childhood or other things that they've been through, but you can still look at the crime and they committed and the victims that they made and consider what they did a horrible thing, and also look into like, to what part was their environment and their upbringing a factor in this, and what part was their own choice to go down this path. And I don't feel like he really explored those things in this manga, those concepts.
Terrible choice of words. And if he'd had any other character, if he'd had Reiner, Jean, Connie, anybody else, like speak out against it, or even after the time skip, for them to speak out against it, it would have been better. I understand Armin and Mikasa, but everybody else, yeah, it's too much. Were there any other questions? Underscore.
Yes, we have a question from Renan here,
Oh no.
asking, did you think Eren was acting sus during the whole last arc?
Yes,
I would have voted him as the imposter. Yeah.
he should have been thrown out of the airlock for sure. But I think the clues were always there that he was not the ice cold Chadrin, even if it was just the flashbacks being thrown in to show his emotion and the crying in 131 over Ramsey. Like, I think,
I mean, I do think that keeping his inner thoughts hidden for the most part was a bad choice on Isayama's behalf. And that's just because I think his, conveying characters' emotions was always one of his strengths, as I've said multiple times in the past on this podcast. And he kind of shied away from that more after the Marley arc and probably focused more on his art, which, I can't say for sure, but his art has drastically improved even in this last arc. So I wish we got more of the good stuff, like more conflict, more his inner thoughts, more how other people thought about him, felt about him, how things affected them. Because keeping us in the dark about Eren, do you think it really was? Yeah, I know there were always a lot of mysteries in this manga, but to have Eren's motivations be the final mystery, do you think that added at all to the story? Did it make it more enjoyable for you guys? And I'm also asking the people listening in right now, because I think I probably would have enjoyed the story more if we had more of, Eren's inner conflict with the whole situation. But that's just me.
I'm seeing a lot of I agree with Luna's. Yeah. Actually, that's all I'm seeing right now.
Mm.
Yeah, we've talked in Andrew's server quite a bit about the whole mystery box approach where Isayama likes to create these mysteries and just hold on to them like a child from birth to adulthood and not give us a glimpse of the baby in the blanket thing. It doesn't work. And for the last chapter to be, I think we counted maybe 12 reveals in one chapter all at once, including the big reveal of Eren's motivations. It's not, I would rather had more downtime to process those reveals. And as it was just, we were getting hit in the face with them over and over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and no time to process them.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say on this. Honestly, it's just,
Yeah.
it's a shame, I think.
It is a shame.
I feel like a lot of people have said that a lot of plot points and character motivations that we never got were kind of wasted potential. Like, he could have done so much in the last part of this series, and it all feels like a lot of it didn't go anywhere or was just underused. Do you agree with that notion?
Absolutely.
What do you think was the most underused or disregarded? Or
I mean, obviously Reiner and Historia, like those two, I felt like had the most build up coming into this, and there was literally nothing. And did we read more into it than we should have, or was a ball dropped? And it feels very much like a ball was dropped. And I know Isayama has a book coming out June 9th, and he's always been very generous in these books. I think we've had, 3 guidebooks now, where he explains all the bits of the story that he didn't make clear. Like he has to create all these guidebooks because he didn't do the job he needed to do in the manga. And those have been a lot of fun. We've gotten like a lot of cool stuff revealed. And I have to think that we'll get some of that in the guidebook.
yeah, the final upcoming guidebook.
But I mean, when you have to write a book to explain your book, that's a problem.
Yeah. I agree with you on Historia. I do think you cannot show her pregnant and like depressed
Miserable.
and then
Yeah.
miserable and not have her speak and then end the chapter or the whole series like with her letter and just like no explanation, just jump to her happily living with her family. But that's what we got. And with Reiner, I think I agree with Alina, who I had on the anime podcast for our second episode as a guest. She said that she really wanted like more of the Eren versus Reiner rivalry, which was also hinted at the final exhibit. That it really would be between them, that there would be a bigger role, and I feel like that was hinted at in the manga as well when they left Liberio, that there was a fight to continue between them, and then when the Battle of Heaven and Earth, like it really felt like there was going to be this big Reiner and Eren battle one more time. Oh, we never really got that at the end. Plus, all of Reiner's story of like wanting to become a hero as a kid and being loved by everyone, and now that he finally had a chance to become a hero and not have the rest of the world know. Nope.
All I can figure is that when Isayama said that Reiner was a secondary protagonist of the story, he only meant for that one arc, and that Reiner's story ended with Marley for the most part. That the rivalry was there.
I mean,
that's obviously that's how it is now in retrospect.
Yes, definitely. But I feel like there was more to it.
Well, yeah, we all did.
So,
but oh well. Like we're all waiting for Historia. We're waiting for the payoff. For Reiner, we're waiting for the payoff. And there was no payoff. Was there? I mean, there was
No,
nothing.
there was that heel twist turn from his mother.
So now we have to determine
who was like a complete bitch to everyone. Look at my big, brave, magnificent son, and look at your dead other son, Mr. Hoover, and look at your missing daughter, Mr. Leonhardt. But look at my amazing son who did come back from Paradis. Ha! Who was all like, "Oh, Reiner, I'm so sorry. I'm so glad you're still alive and not the armored titan anymore. I'm so happy that was included and that gave Reiner the closure."
I know. I can justify every part of this story if you give me enough time, but Reiner, I can't. Like, it's just like,
Why did Karina get a happy ending out of all of the people?
Well, I think the whole point was that Reiner's childhood baggage needed to be resolved, and Corinna needed to do that. And so Corinna released him from his burden of needing to be a hero, and he could go on and become a pervy frat boy sniffing married women letters or whatever. But I just
he did everything, and he did the right thing. Why would he need to let go of that? Why couldn't he just move on from that? Like, realize you can't always get what you want, but I'll do the right thing and I'll forge my own path. And why did Karina have to absolve him of?
Yeah. I mean, I would much rather have seen dead warriors in the smoke than Corinna, but your face, I mean, during the live stream, I know we're not going to share that publicly. That's only available to people who are like in it, but that look of complete devastation, like I felt so bad. I felt bad for you. I felt bad for all the Reiner fans.
I was so happy at first because in the first panel, posted 3-year time skip, he looked so handsome, and then the panel right after that was him being a creep. And it's like, that's what we're ending Historia on. His mom getting absolved and giving him what he wants and needs, apparently, and him sniffing a letter for a girl he couldn't name by the correct name for 7 years, hasn't seen in 7 years, has a kid with someone else. I mean, is married to someone now. I mean, that's all I could have ever wanted for Reiner.
And I think you saw where the editor has commented on that and said that they laughed at the panel, that it was just like a dark joke. But I think that makes it all the more insulting to a lot of readers. I don't think that actually helps. I don't think that absolves it, that, oh, haha, look, we made a funny joke. I don't think that helps.
I mean, I kind of get it. Like, they want to show, or Isayama wanted to show, like, he's in a better place now mentally and he wants to, like, joke like he did before. But I think the way he joked, did it have to be like this? Like, if he said, like, oh, I can't wait to see Historia again or something, that would have been enough. But to go, like, overboard with it like this, was that really necessary?
And that answer is no, it was not.
Ugh.
Maybe we'll get into this later, but did it ruin the series for you as a reader, as somebody who...
Oh, no, like, I still said, like, the Marley arc is still the best arc, and I still love that arc, and it still also retrospectively made me like Reiner in Clash and beyond. But, and there's still moments I enjoy. I just, there was more Isayama could have done with his character, and yeah, the wasted potential bothers me a little bit. And the ending I don't love, but it's not a terrible ending for him either. Like I said, I wanted him to live. I wanted him to be happy. So, and I also want people who read this and don't see a light at the tunnel to kind of maybe draw some strength from this to see, like, things do get better. So in that regard, I'm happy, but it's not the way I prefer things would have gone.
Well, you and me both. Well, Underscore has hit me up and said that we have a lot of questions, an ever-growing list, and we're already 2 hours into this. So,
okay, let's go.
should we just have Underscore pick out 5 questions and we'll just answer those briefly? And
let's
if they
do
can,
it.
Yeah. So Underscore, if you want to pick out maybe 5 of them on things that we haven't talked about, and we will be brief.
Okay, we have first question is from Savalkas regarding the rumbling. It's, did Isayama forget that all the Wall Titans would have turned back into normal Eldians? Question mark.
So my theory on that is, and I think, again, just my theory, but I'm going to stand by it, is that that the Wall Titans were not people turned into Titans, that they were part of the Paths dimension. And looking at ghost theory, where the ghosts are still there, where they were able to reanimate the Titans of the past, my theory is that these Wall Titans were, I don't know, reanimated dead Eldians. And when the Titan curse ended, they just faded back into the Paths world, as did, or disintegrated with the Paths world, I guess, as did Erwin, Hanji, Sasha, Ymir, and the entire structure of that world. They were part of the structure of the world. That's how I see it. That's how I have explained it to myself.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if that was on Nasty's or on the Titan Tea Time podcast, but they mentioned like the past shifters coming back on Eren's back. They were attached with a cord, like to Eren, and these colossals weren't. So I don't know if these are per se dead Eldians, but I don't know. They could have listen. They could have all fallen into the sea when they turned back human, and drowned. I don't know, or it's just flat on the floor. You know, the rumbled floor.
Okapi didn't have a cord. Just saying.
Mm.
I mean, but you're right. It's just part of the world that we can't. I mean,
I don't even. It's a thing.
so
It's a thing.
accept my theory that they were part of Ghost, but the Pathster life, and yeah.
I mean, people were also saying that it had been like 100 years, so maybe they had completely disintegrated or completely merged, maybe with their titans. Because we've heard people say that, right? That they're merging with their titans, becoming one with them.
I know, but Ymir was a Titan for 70 years, and she didn't merge with hers. So I don't think
No,
an extra
but
30.
it's also like how, like she didn't want to be a titan, but like Eren, like got it when he was really into being the like attack titan, like really using his powers. And I'm guessing maybe the people who became wall titans also felt like they were doing it for the good of the world because they were so strong in their conviction. Maybe they got absorbed by their titan form more quickly.
I'm going to keep my theory.
I'm just
Yeah.
spitballing here. It's nothing serious, but yeah, it's, I don't know what Isayama meant.
We thought about it more than he did, is what he meant. So, all right, what's next, Underscore?
Paula Abelenda asks, do you believe we will get novels after this ending? Like we got Lost Girls and No Regrets?
I'm going to say yes, there will be more to the franchise, but not written by Isayama. That'll be my prediction. I mean, it makes sense to me if there's money to be made, they will continue making it. Although after this ending, I don't know that there's money to be made. Maybe they'll base it on the sales of the guidebook in June. If that goes gangbusters, then they'll realize people are still interested and they'll start producing spin-offs. And if they do produce a spin-off, my hope has always been for a great Titan War spin-off. And the veteran spin-off. Young veterans. An Erwin spin-off. Yeah.
Erwin and his love affair with Marie.
No. Oh, I have to just say this thing. Nitaku, I know a lot of people share my love of Erwin. Nitaku said the most horrible thing in the chat, and I'm just going to read it. He said, equating Reiner sniffing the letter, he said, imagine if Erwin survived the whole series and his last appearance included him sniffing a letter from Niall's wife. Yes, imagine that. That really helped me to appreciate the pain that Reiner's fans are going through. Thought I would share that. Thank you, Nitaku, for that one. Can't get that image out of my mind now.
Yeah, before we move on to like the ending, shall we talk a bit about our favorite moments from this chapter?
It was definitely Levi. Levi saved the chapter. Him seeing me and Petter getting satisfaction to everybody who told us we were crazy about ghost theory was the best moment of the chapter. Levi was flawless. Like, I'm so glad I picked the favorites I did. And his little ending, him and Gabby and Falco, him in the wheelchair, looking super comfortable as Falco's pushing him around. I mean, there's no complaints there from me. Absolutely none. Perfect. Flawless. If I focus on that, I'm happy.
Yeah, I agree. Levi got a really good ending, send off wise with the Survey Corps. It's still not a Valhalla, but have your past life, copium,
Hey,
ghost theory.
when we were in the live stream, you pointed at your shirt and you said, "Go ahead and tell me what you said."
No,
I will.
fine. Right, manga. Ooh.
You said all these years you've been saying wrong manga, and it was
I
actually
know.
right manga. So
For this one thing, it was, yeah.
at least, and also, Mikasa got a perfect ending, no matter what. Mikasa's ending was flawless, and people can argue with that. For me, it was flawless.
Okay, well, I disagree, but I will talk a little bit more about my favorite, which was Falco and Gabby hugging after Gabby turned back into human, and also her and him together as 15-year-olds pushing Uncle Levi in his wheelchair with Anyankopon there. Oh, it's amazing. It's still my favorite part of the chapter. It makes me smile always. Just gives me good feelings. I think for me those two were the best moments. Like Levi got a great ending. I love that he is also not on parody. I mean, they probably wouldn't let him back, but why would he want to? Like the man sacrificed everything for parody, and then they turn around and all turn into fascists. Come on. He deserves to be taken care of by two young kids.
Yeah, I love that Levi didn't go back. He was done. He'd done everything on his to-do list and was done.
And there was nothing left for him there in parody, so
I saw a lot of screaming in the chat about my statement about Mikasa's ending being perfect.
mm.
And I just want to say that I never saw her story as a problem. I always appreciated her devotion. I think it was unhealthy. I think she recognized that. I think Eren wanted her to forget about him, and she said a big solid no to that. Again, that was her choice. And she's what I expected. And I don't think she spent 3 years sitting under a tree. She looked better fed than that. She looked healthier than that. I think if she wants to spend the rest of her life thinking about him, that's her choice. It's a perfect ending for me because I wanted her to have a choice, and I feel like she made her choice, and I don't want to argue with that.
Yeah, didn't you also did you say it in the chat that you were good at looking at someone's positive sides and also good at ignoring their bad sides?
I'm nothing about it was healthy. Nothing about it was good.
At least
It
we
was
agree on that.
tragic. Yeah, it was tragic, but I think that Mikasa made her own choices, and I appreciate that. Nobody coerced her. Nobody forced her. She was not a slave. I like it.
Mm. I feel like it was wasted potential. Like I feel like there could have been done more with her character.
Oh, absolutely. There could have been more done with every character. Let's be real.
Well, but especially her, she was very one note. I still sorry, I can't take her seriously because I think of her walking back all the way to Paradis and then swimming back with Eren's head somewhere. Because how did she get back?
I don't know.
I don't know. But I think that's the main concern. Like the fact that there was never anything from Eren to reciprocate his feelings throughout the story made it weird.
I saw that though, so that never bothered me.
Yeah, but like, did she know that he reciprocated?
It
Like, did
didn't
she?
matter. To me, it didn't matter. He was her family. Love is love is love is love, right? And whether it
No,
was
that's not
as her
true.
savior, as her boyfriend,
There's
as her
different kinds
family,
of love.
it
No.
started one way, it ended another, and I can't fault anyone for who they choose to love. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe that's also it. Maybe I felt like that relationship was never really strongly developed. That I could see, like it felt more of a superficial love. Like I don't know.
Oh, see, I just totally, I don't want to fight about it because I know
No,
we're running out of
in a
time, but
romantic way. I mean, it felt more superficial, not like as a family way that I
to
could
me,
see.
it
But
was organic. Like I saw their relationship grow from chapter 1 to the end of the series. I saw them become more mature, more respectful of each other until the time skip, and then he was a total douchebag to her. But especially in RTS arc, I saw a lot of maturity and growth in their relationship. And granted, could it have been better done like everything else in this manga? Yes. But to me,
yeah,
I
but I feel like this is
this
yeah,
was the love story of the manga. It should have
yeah.
been better done.
I disagree that it was the love story. Like
Okay,
it
it was
was
the
a
relationship. It was
one-sided like 139 chapters, and then the final chapter. Apparently, Eren is like, "Yeah, Mikasa, Mikasa, Mikasa."
I
Great.
saw it in 123, and if people did not see it in 123, that's on them. I saw it in 112. I saw it in I didn't see it in 112. 108 in the train scene, I saw it. 123, I saw it. I mean, it was
Yeah, okay,
there
so
if
there
people
were
wanted
hints,
it.
but that I don't call that development. I want more out of it. And again, it's indeed unhealthy. And now she's back on Paradis. Like she's lost Eren, but she's also lost all of her friends there. Now she's living with the fascists, at least because Eren's grave is there. I mean, that's her future. I'm supposed to find out a good ending for her. I'm
Let's move
sorry.
on. Yeah.
Let's
It was his death anniversary, and they were all
Yeah,
coming to
no, no,
see.
no, no. That's fine if she's just there for, but like, why would she give everything up just to be there?
Whatever, let's move on.
Yeah,
Underscore
okay.
stuff.
We're not gonna agree on this. Let's go.
Yeah, we have 7 questions regarding character endings. So let's start with Petter's comment. How likely do you think it is that Historia is a Jaegerist? I could really see it going either way with her. Of course, I hope she isn't a Jaegerist, so I personally like to think she's her own unique situation as the monarch of Paradise, but I'm curious to hear your takes on her situation and why she would keep quiet about Eren's plan, even though he told her all about it. What do you think?
Yeah, this is the question that I probably have to do the most backpedal. I mean, I clearly was wrong. So I don't want to say that Historia is totally a Jaegerist. You know, I would like to think that I saw Kasumi Kasa on Twitter try to rationalize. I want to rationalize this, okay? And you guys can call it cope all you want. I want to cope. I want copium on this, and I've been trying to inhale it. But Kasumi Kasa was of the mindset that Historia was powerless to stop Eren, but she suspects that while Armin left the world to fix, like Armin clean up his mess on the world, that Historia's job was going to be to clean up his mess on Paradise. And her expression, Historia's expression at the end, that look of determination, that's the first time we've seen that look since she stood up and said, I will take the Beast Titan. I mean, it looked like old Historia. It looked like she was ready to like mess up some Nazis. That's the only way I can reconcile this is that she was biding her time. And for whatever reason, she's acting now. I mean, I can't forgive the silence either. I hate the idea of her being a Jaegerist. I don't think she is a Jaegerist. I think her emblem was different. I think the fact that she in her letter talked about the world and not Paradise. I wish we knew for sure. Maybe the guidebook will tell us, but was being silent, does that make her complicit? Yes. Yes, Historia is complicit in the rumbling, and I never, ever thought that would be the case ever. So Horatio and others who in YouTube we have argued incessantly over this. I do not think Historia is a Jaegerist, but I do think she was complicit. Her silence made her complicit.
I agree that I don't think she's a Jaegerist, but I've looked at what other people had to say, and I feel I still don't exactly get why she stayed silent. I'm thinking it's because maybe she thought it wouldn't change anything for the better, and she couldn't stop Eren anyway. Like she played all the cards that she had to try and stop him, and she couldn't. So I don't know why she stayed silent, but the fact that she did is kind of troublesome, and the fact that how she took advantage of the situation, like post Battle of Heaven and Earth, that's a little bit concerning to me. I
I
mean,
don't think she didn't take advantage. It looks to me like she laid low. She was still a puppet queen. It's not like she had authority. I think
no,
she
no, no.
wasn't.
She's not in charge. That's of course that's
Okay.
the fascist movement. But it seems like it's not like they pushed her aside, right? Like she still is very front and center in the peace negotiations, which like she's not in any. She doesn't have to fear the Jaegerists. Let me put it like that. They're not a threat to her. That makes me think. Well, keeping quiet had not only a good advantage, had an advantage for her personally, but also maybe that's what she wanted. Like maybe she did want to keep Bialetti safe. Maybe she thought, well, okay, Eren is going ahead with this, but this grave error, I'll take advantage of it. Thank you.
That's the only way I can reconcile it, is that she was biding her time to take care of things later. And it looks like that's the way the story's going.
Okay, next question is from Saturni, and it's opinions about Levi staying alive. You said it before, but go through this list.
I was happy he stayed alive. I'll just leave it at that. He got everything he wanted. He looks happy. I'm happy for him. I don't think thematically he needed to die. When Armin said the way they were going to fix this was to tell their story, we needed people from each stage of the game to tell the story. And Levi being the last of the vets, the last of the Survey Corps, if they need to hear his story, he's there. They needed somebody.
I'm happy. I mean, he could have died this chapter, like saluting the Survey Corps members that had passed, but I just love that he's with Falco, Gabby, and Onyankopo now. I just love it. So I'm happy with his ending, but I think I would have been happy either way.
And one more shout out about Afterlife being real. Sorry.
Still not Valhalla.
I will never get over that, Mosaku. Afterlife is not real.
Oh, come on. Wait till I take on bird theory.
We will get to that.
Bird or bird theory?
Bird. Seagull theory. Seagull.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bert, our next question comes from Bertrice. Did Armin really deserve his ending? He got basically what he wanted on the sacrifice of others.
I'm not displeased with Armin's ending, and I do think he deserved it. Deserved is a big word. I'm not going to say deserved, actually. I don't think he earned it. I don't mind that he got it.
What, to get everything, the girl, the leadership role, the WAP,
The hero.
The hero, yeah.
Armin, Reese,
everything.
Ackerman, Tiber, Hoover, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's Isayama's self-insert. He even got Isayama's haircut by the end, so...
He did. He looked... And in the poll, he got best glow up. When we asked who had the best glow up, it was Armin. Armin was the best looking. Time skip. I can't care too much anymore. Like, Armin still got work to do. He's still got to save humanity. He's still got to clean up Eren's mess. It's probably not fun for him. I'm glad somebody's doing it.
I mean, yeah, let's just leave it at that. He got everything very easily. Let me just put it at that. Like, compared to how hard they had to work at things and never got them, or barely, and then he basically got everything handed on a silver platter, doesn't make him a very compelling or interesting character to me.
I guess I don't call it a silver platter, but I mean, we can agree to disagree on that. I think he tried.
I mean,
well, A for effort, golden
yeah,
star.
it's okay. He sat all those years in front of Annie's crystal, touching it. Whoa, good for him. Guess that made Annie fell in love with him. The creepy touching. And, him becoming the leader of the Survey Corps instead of someone with actual leadership skills. That was fair and just.
I'm not going to fight you on this.
Because I'm right.
No, he was absolutely the right person to be. We discussed this. He was of all the people, he was the spirit of the Survey Corps. Certainly Armin and Mikasa, or Eren and Mikasa were not.
No, we discussed that Eren and Mikasa were not, and that
right.
Armin more so. But to say that he would have been the right fit for as the leadership role, I disagree. And I still disagree with Hanji as well. Not because, they don't have skills, but they wouldn't excel in the leadership role. But like the choice was probably her or Levi, them and Levi. So yeah, between Hanji and Levi, I would also go with Hanji. But with like the choices Hanji had for the next leaders, I wouldn't have picked Armin. Let's just leave it at that. Next topic or question, please.
Yeah, we probably need to cut this quickly because we need to do the quick fire and move on. So,
Do you want to move to the next question? Then? So we can go quickly. Demon King asks, what are your thoughts on Helos, parenthesis Reiner, and Fritz, parenthesis Zeke, saving the world together? And how it could have been better if they both had a talk instead of having Armin in paths. Some salt on the wound there.
Not salty at all there. My answer to that is that I equated it in the chat earlier today to a road trip where the driver is Isayama and Armin, Mikasa, and Eren is that destination. There were plenty of interesting places he could have pulled over and spent some time, but he didn't. The destination was always what it was. And there were 1,000 different ways this story could have been better. And characters who were more interesting than Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, or at least Mikasa and Armin. So it's his story, and he chose to tell it the way he told it. And it's up to us to like it or not.
Shall we send him the poll results? 15,000 people could have come to this conclusion.
15,000 people hated it, Mr.
Yeah.
Isayama.
Love persona. Bye. Yeah, regarding Demon King's question, I feel like, I'm okay with Armin and Zeke having that conversation instead of Zeke with anyone else, because I felt like Zeke and Armin hadn't really spoken with each other, so it made sense for them to come to new insights with each other, as opposed to Reiner and Zeke, for example. I mean, if I was Reiner, I would have tried to kill Zeke in paths, which I'm not sure if that's possible, but I would have tried if I was Reiner.
Yeah, Armin not being a judgmental person was a good one to talk to Zeke.
Shall I move on to the next question then?
Yes.
Nitaku asks, what do you think Reiner did to Isayama to make him hate him so much?
That is the question.
Yeah, the best answer is that if Isayama couldn't have Reiner, nobody could have Reiner. So
there you go.
That's it. That's all there's to it.
And Isayama drew Reiner with Matt Damon's body and what was that?
Brad Pitt's good face and Matt Damon and perfect personality, etc., etc. And all he does is end up, becoming a mama's boy who sniffs married women's letters.
So it was jealousy, Nitaku. It was all jealousy that Armin had to be his self-insert and not Reiner.
So Vital asks, what happened to Yelena? Also, same question from DominicG. Also asked, what happened to Yelena?
Okay, so Momtaka once said that with Kiyomi and Yelena on one boat, only one of them will survive. And we saw Kiyomi. She was very much alive, so...
I thought Yelena would eat Kiyomi, but apparently it went the other way. Kiyomi, I mean, who knows how long they were on that raft, how long they floated. I'm guessing Kiyomi it was one of those survival stories, and Kiyomi ate Yelena. That's what I think.
I think Kiyomi threw her overboard the same way she likes Surplex Flock. But, she could have died from her injuries and started to smell too much, so she just gave her a seaman's grave. I don't know. Maybe she went back to live somewhere away from all the people who weren't her almighty savior, Zeke Jaeger.
I do wonder if the guidebook will give us what happened to Yelena.
I wonder. I'm guessing because we didn't see her, I'm more likely to say that she is dead, but there's no way to know for sure.
I just realized what we're doing now. So we all kind of had our cope for the ending. We were all like what we thought would happen. Now we're going to transfer all of that copium to the mystery pages that are going to be included in the final volume and into this guidebook. And we're going to work ourselves into frenzy between now and June, expecting things to get fixed. And it's not. It's going to be just as bad. And we're going to have all...
I'm going to pre-order this guidebook. And I'm going to work on my Japanese, and we're gonna just get to the bottom of all of this.
We're just
ASAP.
what we need to all do collectively as a fandom and lower our expectations for every bit of information in that guidebook. It's going to have Surma's last name. Like that's what's going to be in the guidebook. It's not going to be anything interesting
We
at
can
all.
have Lara Tiber's middle name.
Right.
You ask for Surma, but the real one is Farmer. Can we just get his
No,
name?
we're not. No, we're not even going to get Farmer Coon's name in the guidebook. That's reaching too high. That's holding up.
Maybe I'm copying too much of that one.
I just want Historia's daughter to be named Genocidia. That's all I want. If that is her official name, then I'm happy. Then everything will be forgiven, Isayama.
If we drop all expectations, we'll be delighted with whatever the bonus pages are. So that's collectively what we all need to do.
I mean, if you can't cope with the end of the manga, we can cope with the end of the anime.
Yeah, but it's too far away. I need cope now.
But we have one final question for character endings. It's from Velucius. What is the point of Peak's character? I don't see her serving any role or purpose. She's just there. She might as well could have been removed from the story.
Okay, Peak's role in the story is what they call a punch clock villain. Somebody on the other side who's very likable and serves to humanize the enemies in a way that Reiner couldn't. Reiner had done too many things to hurt too many people. And I know when on the polls, people, I would say, 20% don't like Reiner, will never like Reiner, have no sympathy towards Reiner. So we needed a punch clock villain. And Peak served that role. Smart, sensible, likable, kind of boring.
What?
As a character role. No, not Peak herself. I said, like, that particular character role isn't the most exciting. That trope is not the most exciting, but it tends to make for very nice characters. She's very likable, made her very likable, and it humanized the warriors.
Yeah, I think she was a little bit of comic relief and also, like you said, a likable character from the other side. But I also I considered her more expandable in the earlier stages of the ending, but I'm super glad she was there at the end. And I'm so happy she called Eren out on that rooftop. That's still one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, you're not my friend, and Parish Nightmare. She got some of the best lines this last arc as well. I wish she had added one of those in this one, but she got to be a little bit sassy. That's about it. I wish I could have talked to him. I know she said it sarcastically, but yeah. I actually wish she could have too. I would have loved to have seen her just eviscerate him.
People in the chat are like, why did she want to talk to Eren?
I think it was to tell him off. Who knows?
I think she was just joking that she was left out of the final goodbye. Let's see. Do we want to talk a little bit about Mikasa burying the head? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I think we need to mention that you called it. Like last month's podcast, you said that she would bury his head under the tree. So I think you deserve a shout out for that. I thought it was perfectly fitting. I have no issues with that at all.
Yeah, I thought if it was obvious he was gonna die, and if they're gonna bury him somewhere, it's gonna be under that tree. There's no other place.
Yeah, I liked it. Did Eren become the dove? Or is he just controlling the dove?
Well, the thing is, how did he control those birds before?
I don't know.
How were the birds in paths? So that's something that's never been explained mechanic-wise. So he could still be controlling the dove or put a part of him in the dove. He could be like Itachi Uchiha. I don't know. But like he isn't the dove, but he's either controlling it or a part of his being is in the burbs. What do you think?
I mean, we called bird theory, and whatever form it takes. Obviously, Eren those birds were super suspicious and were significant in the story.
Yep. It's kind of crazy how he has been watching everything through the burbs.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to elaborate on the final roles in the game? So Historia being happy with her family, the Jaegerist taking control, and the the Alliance being the ambassadors for peace.
I liked the part that Eren messed up the world even more than it was before, and Paradise more than I'm fine with all that. But I really think since we're another hour into this and we had more plans, we should probably just move into the final chapter quiz that we published last June and announce the winner for that.
July, yeah, it's been a long time ago.
Do you want to explain what that was, though? I don't know that everyone remembers the final guessing game.
So we had a final guessing game. So we had a long list of characters where you had to guess whether they were dead or alive by the end of the series. And then we had a couple of other questions. Historia point of view, when will we get a full world destruction? Will the Titan curse be gone? And, who are in the final panel and who's the baby daddy?
And we asked that in July of 2020, right?
So a long time ago, like 9 months ago. Let me just explain a couple of things first. We had to leave some questions out. So we left Yelena out of the scoring, the Yelena dead or alive, because we're not sure of what happened to her. We also left out the question for when would we get Historia's point of view, because we felt there was not really a correct answer. You could say like the conversation she had with Eren on the forum was her point of view. You could say it was this past chapter in the letter. You could also say we didn't really get her point of view. So I also decided not to count that one. And I will say for the final score, it didn't matter that we didn't count that one because there was more than 2 points apart between the winner and everyone else. Also, for the other questions, you only got a point if you gave like a definitive answer. So if we asked who's the baby daddy, you had to say farmer and not Eren or Historia's lover, or could be farmer, could be Ymir, could be Eren, could be Z, could be Grisha. Like just one answer and the correct answer. Same goes for the final panel. I only gave you a point if you got both Eren and Grisha. Total number of points you could get was 23. And the winner with 20 points out of 23 was Harry. All hail the mighty king Floch Forrester was his write-in. So, Harry, congrats.
I don't know who this is. The Discord name is Harry8234. And I friended them. Yes, at that time. I sent a friend request, and I do not share any servers with this person. So Harry is our winner. We were going to send Harry a copy of Besatsu Shonen. But Harry, if you're there, answer my friend request. But yeah, so anyway, that was amazing, though, that he got 20 of them. Although his, like you said, final comment, all hail Flock Forrester.
Yeah, the joke's on us on this one.
And then in second place was like a 12-way tie, correct?
Yeah. So Harry, if you don't answer, we're going to have to send like something to 12 people.
We're not going to send something to 12 people.
12 people. So like we're going to send out a message on Twitter. Please accept Montaku's friend request. Get your email address back together in shape. Like, come on.
No, I think what we're going to do is if we don't hear from Harry,
like, it's fine. I get it. Your grandfather died. Your wife's pregnant, but just reach out to us, okay? We get it.
Luna, what we could do is we could randomize the 12 and just pick one of the 12. By the way, are there any people
that feels mean. That feels mean.
In the 12, is there anybody that we recognize? Any of our friends?
That's even worse. I'm not doing nepotism.
Oh, I'm just curious. Are you going to publish the list so people can see where they came in? Like, I want to know how many points I had.
You had it pretty good. You had 18.
Oh, wow.
Much higher than you thought, because you were always saying, "Oh, I messed up my score."
And does that put me in with the pack of 12?
It does. Well, no, I excluded you, so you're number 13. I'm not.
Okay,
we're not sending. We're not gifting ourselves the number one prize.
No. I just want bragging rights here. So I got second. I was officially one of the people in second place. That's all I'm asking. Okay.
Maybe we'll do a final question or something. I don't know.
All right, we'll give Harry a chance, though.
Well, yeah, Harry, please.
And will you publish the list so people can see where they were? We had a couple hundred entries, right?
Yeah, 127, I think.
Okay,
so
it'd be nice to see the results. Wait, did I beat Nitaku, or is Nitaku also in the top in the big batch of 18s?
Hold on. I don't know if he filled it out once or twice, but let me find him. Let me find him. No, he only did it once, and he got. You tied. Also
Okay.
18.
Okay. All right. All right. Oh, well. Good to know.
No bragging rights on that one. Sorry.
A little bit of bragging rights. Okay, so that takes care of the final guessing game quiz. And I guess we should go ahead and kick off the quick fire with Polka and Puppet. Are they both in the chat? I see them there. And let me just announce again that in the chat, actually, Puppet, you want to explain what you're doing here?
In chat, I'll be posting polls for each quickfire question. Everyone can answer them. At the end of the quickfire, I'll close all the polls and read off the results.
Okay. And I think, Polka, I think you got a marriage request in the chat. I saw something fly by.
What?
Just go back and check for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, marry, Mary. There you go. Also, Nad, yes, any day.
Can I say that I have seen you and you are really cute?
Yeah, I'm literally pharmacking. You know?
This is it, Polka. This is your last shot at a quick fire. Like, this is your legacy.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Once I finish this, I can go to bed tonight, and I can just never have to talk about Attack on Titan.
Freedom, doesn't that feel great? Doesn't that feel great? You're gonna be the bird at the end, Polka.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. I'm gonna be like the panel, you know, the famous panel where he says freedom several times.
Okay, let's go.
Right, this is in no particular order. Simple quickfire round starts now of the Polka's Super Mega Quickfire Round 9000. In brackets, thank God it's finally over. Right, we're all done. Eren or Armin?
Eren.
Eren.
Armin.
Eren. Mikasa or Hanji?
Hanji.
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 Hanji. Levi or Owen?
Erwin.
Levi.
Erwin.
Levi. Jean or Flock?
Yeah, I chose Flock.
Jean.
Jean.
Flock. Sasha or Connie?
Connie, because he didn't die.
Sasha, because at least she died and had an impact. I don't think Connie would have.
I am going to go with... Darn it. Guys, I was going to go with Connie for being chapter MVP, but Yelena stole it. So I'm going to go with Connie anyway. Connie. I really thought Connie was going to get MVP this chapter.
Connie got MVP this chapter because it got stolen away by someone who's not even in the chapter. Amazing.
I thought that was a joke from her. Like, I thought, like, she was saying, well, I thought Connie wouldn't play any parts, but Yelena was not even there, so I thought she was joking.
Oh, well.
No, I don't think she's joking.
God.
I think that's the genuine truth. Anyway, yeah, Sasha, because what the fuck has Connie ever done? Anyway. So this is a bit of a blast from the past. I've got a lot of blasts from the past because I decided to bring up the old wiki, you know. Thank you, Nitaki, for that. And the characters, yeah. Not all, no, I'm not going to do any of the nobodies, but Moblit or... Is it Mike? Yeah, Mike or Miche.
Mike, yeah.
Moblitz.
Well, I like my boys who smell things, so I guess Mike.
Yeah, Mike for me, for sure.
I don't know, Moblit has the loyalty. Anyway, he also didn't die so pathetically. Anyway, Dina or Carla?
Carla, because she was a good mother.
Yeah, Carla, because Dina was going along with Grisha's abusive bullshit.
This manga does not have many genuinely good parents. Carla was a genuinely good parent.
Yeah, Carla as well. And on the subject of parenting, Mr. Browse or Mr. Leonhardt?
Browse. Browse 100%.
Yeah, Browse, of course.
Oh, absolutely. Arthur Browse.
Yeah, Mr. Browse. It's amazing that, like, we've known Mr. Leonhardt longer, but Everyone likes Mr. Brows more.
Yeah, because he didn't, mess up his daughter completely.
Yeah, there are exactly like 3 genuinely good people in this manga. Onyankopon, Mr. Browse, and maybe there's only 2. Actually, I take it back.
Oh, you don't think Carla is a good person?
Yeah, Carla. We'll put Carla in there.
Yeah, but Eren killed Karl. She can't be that good. Annie or Bertolt?
Bertolt.
Yeah, same. Bert.
Yeah, I Bertold.
Bertolt. All right. Pixis or Niall?
Pixis.
Pixis.
Niall.
Pixis. Reiner or Zeke?
Zeke.
What? How you betray me? Reiner.
Reiner.
Oh, you had to think long on that one.
A chapter ago, I would have said Reiner, but Zeke.
Well, that's kind of...
Sorry, I'm so sorry. They built him up so much, and then they just cut to him sniffing a piece of paper, and it kind of ruins any of the development he had in, like, going from some suicide. Sorry, I just want to. Can I just rant about this, because I've been wanting to say
go
I
ahead,
couldn't
Polkka.
do it.
You have earned your rant. Do it.
Right, so I'm not even talking about Flock right now. I'm talking about Reiner. Reiner was a good character. Reiner's all about how, he's got some fucked up head, and it's all about how he built past that to save the world. He fights the what's it called again? The big worm thing. He fights that. He does the whole Helios stab it in the face thing, and then cuts the last chapter. He's sniffing a piece of paper. What an ending for a character like that. Fucking hell. Amazing. Thank you, Mr. Isayama. You've really nailed it on the head with this one. Sorry, Zeke. Because Zeke died before he could get fucking shit on by the last chapter. I don't even okay, the last chapter is not as bad as people say it is, but like it still annoys me. Anyway, Piek or Porco?
Porco.
I'm gonna go with Porco, but that's mainly because of the anime.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Porco. Oh, this is a tough one, but Porco's swagger. Oh, Peak is swagger too. Peak. I'm gonna go with Peak.
It's Porco. It's always gonna be Porco. Pete didn't even get to go with Jean in the end, so it's Porco.
Thank God he didn't get to go with Jean in the end.
The best ship, the cart and horse.
Yeah, it's so wholesome. Anyway, Gabby or Falco?
Gabby gang.
Luna's torn between Falco and saying Gabby gang.
Gabby gang. No, Gabby.
That's all it is.
She looked good post time skip. Falco looked like he belonged in a shoujo manga.
Definitely Gabby gang. Gabby gang.
Falco is the peak of... He's like the most normal human being in the entire manga, I swear. Yeah, Falco. Tom Kaseva or Aaron Kruger?
Kruger.
Yelena or Yankapon?
Onyankopon.
Yankapon. Uri Rice or Willie Tiber?
Ooh.
Willie Tiber.
Wait, who was the first?
Yuri.
Oh, Willie.
I'm gonna go with Willie too.
Damn, I'm gonna say Uri. I quite like that Paradise speech. Kenny or Grisha?
Kenny.
Grisha. Sadis or Magath?
Magath.
Shadis. Fucking Malayan. Anyway.
You know how I roll.
Nanava or Gelga? Those two.
Oh, Nanava. Oh, God. Yeah.
Nanava's the blonde one. Gelga's the one who drank the alcohol.
I think everyone can relate to Gelgar's alcohol addiction more than Nanava's sudden family abuse. So, Gelgar.
Nanaba.
Manga Nanaba for me. Forget the anime. Strike the anime.
Vala or Hitch?
Hitch, best girl?
Yeah, Hitch.
Fuck. I'm gonna say Marlo, but Hitch's best girl.
She got a great ending. Better than Rico.
She was like Himmler to like the next Heydrich or something. She just stood there looking bored as someone like made a fascist speech. What an amazing ending
Perfect.
The character. Anyway, it does pick a character, to be honest. Samuel or Daz? There's two important characters in that chapter.
Daz, because I like his face.
I'm gonna go with Samuel because of his name and also because Sasha saved him, but it didn't matter because they're both dead now.
And I'm gonna go with Daz because I've accused Isayama of being only able to draw 5 different types of faces, but Daz always proves me wrong.
Daz has the worst faces. So also Daz. Hans or Marco?
Hans meaning?
Hannes.
Hannes.
Okay. Hannes.
Hannes.
Marco.
Hannes for me.
Hannes. Historia or Ymir Fritz?
Historia.
Oh, this is a tricky one. Because I don't like either of them. Let's go with Ymir Fritz.
I will go with Historia through chapter 91.
She drowned in the ocean in chapter 90. Very sad.
Yes. It was really sad when Historia died in chapter 91, but she was a great character up until then.
Personally, I think the idea of Historia running some kind of weird fascistic dictatorship is fucking hilarious. So we're going for Historia here. It's like the most wholesome character you can imagine becoming Hitler. It doesn't make sense.
If it was set up, I would love it too. Like if it was actually established, if she became an evil genius, I would love it.
She was manipulating Eren the entire time. That's what they're going to add to the next 3 pages in the volume. It's going to be Farmer Kun or Cadets Ymir.
Farmer Shad, boys.
What?
Farmer Kun.
Ymir, freckled Ymir, all the way.
Every Friday, I see Farmer Kun dancing on the stage as he goes into a wrestling ring, and it just lights my day up, you know? Thanks to Andrew All-Star server. I can't get over him. Colt or Niccolo?
Wait, did Momtako answer?
Oh, everyone knows my answer would be freckled Ymir.
Yeah, okay, still fair.
You did say Ymir.
I'm sure
as well,
if not, I thought it loud enough that you heard it.
Fucking telepathy. Colt or Niccolo?
Niccolo, because he mattered.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Colt, because he protects kids. He doesn't beat the crap out of them and threaten to kill them. Fuck him. There.
So I'm now very afraid to go with who I was going to choose.
Yeah. So. You're very lucky there's an ocean between us.
Okay.
You're very lucky that both of them are Marleyan, so she, actually has a choice.
Well, does she?
Well, Luna did anyway.
I'm going to decline to comment because it could turn ugly.
It's Colt, isn't it?
No, I was going to pick Niccolo, but...
Really? I think Niccolo's a better character, but I sympathise with Colt more. Put it like that.
Yeah, I think you and I will always sympathise with Colt.
Yeah. It's the older sibling
yes.
thing. If you're a younger sibling, you just don't get it. You just don't get it.
Yeah, Montaku is one of those people.
Those younger siblings, they're like complete psychopaths, but you love them anyway. It's just how it is. Or only child are definitely psychopaths. That's just the truth. Final one for the simple quickfire round. 1 name, 2 name things. Rod Rice or Frida Rice?
Frida.
Gotta go with my birthday twin, Frida.
Oh, Frida. Definitely.
Yeah, Frida. Right. This is what I've labelled as more complex shite. As in, it's more than 2 answers. That's incredibly complex to me, you see. Right. How was the ending? Was it good? Was it bad? Or was it ugly?
Sure was ugly.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Ugly.
I'm going to go with ugly.
Yeah, ugly. It's neither good nor bad. That is true. It's like, okay, I'm not going to make it anymore. which character best fits the description of Erwin's successor? Hanji, Armin, Eren, or my guy Flock?
I mean, Hanji did see Erwin in death. Flock didn't. I think we have a...
Shut up. Underscore is really on my side here. Come on.
I mean, Flock.
Yeah.
I think in ideology, Hanji, in determinism for
well, the whole point is they all represent something of Erwin. That's why he's so what's the word?
He was everyone's ideal. He was what they all tried to achieve.
I mean, I guess Eren, because he's Shinzo Osasagi yelling, Eren doesn't give a damn. Eren is just doing his own thing.
The heresy in this chat. I go with Hanji.
Who do you think the real enemy is, Eren? Huh? Sorry, that was a strange question to ask. We all know it's you.
In public mannerisms, Flock, but I think in the way it's supposed to be set up, it's Armin. Because obviously Erwin wanted Armin to be a successor, so... But Isayama made Flock too based, so, that's not my fault. Yeah. Best arc. Trost, Female Titan, Utgard, Uprising, RTS, Marley, War for Paradise, or War for the World. This is a new archive, so it's not War for Paradise, but it's 123 onwards, after the rumbling starts.
I mean, if you don't pick Marley, what the fuck are you doing? Called outs.
Yeah, Marley. And I will say Uprising was the worst. What's your favorite, Montaku?
RTS. And Uprising is my second. So it depends which characters you like. I love the vets. And
when is RTS your favorite, since you came to terms with Erwin's death?
Yes. Once I processed Erwin's death, RTS was my favorite. And Uprising was my second because the vets just really shined.
I really liked War for Paradise, to be honest. But I don't know if that's because I was just on, in it more than... Yeah, I'll say War for Paradise. That's a controversial pick, but I'll go for it. And all those arcs, so all of the arcs that I just mentioned, basically all of them, which one was your favourite to be in reading that arc in the fan base? How do I explain this in, normal terms? Which of those arcs did you enjoy being a part of the AOT fan base in?
Oh, that's a good question. Not RTS. Oh.
No.
Late Marley. Definitely not early Marley. That was.
Oh yeah. I'd say, well, even beginning of War for Parity was still nasty, with all the Gabby hate. I'm gonna say probably when I joined the fandom, which was right after the basement reveal, because everyone was lauding the series for that. So yeah, end of RTS then.
So I actually joined the fandom during the Female Titan arc when those manga chapters were coming out. So I have been in the fandom for all of these. And I would say Uprising. Well, what's fun for me is when people are happy and there's not a loud group of people screaming what utter garbage it is. And that's the last time we had that. RTS objectively was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare to be in fandom. Marley was a nightmare because of people wanting the original cast back, which I understood. So I'm going to go with Uprising. It was the last time the Survey Corps had a good ending. Historia on the throne, a solid win for everybody. People seemed happy. And I think that arc was constructed really well in a lot of ways. I know some people thought it was boring, but it had a really good conclusion. It had a good setup. Less to complain about in Uprising.
I'm with you there. Just on the writing terms, I really like the politics and stuff of Uprising. I'm going to say War for the World 123 onwards. That had some of the best memes. But then again, I was mainly on Titanfall, and so all the shitting on the manga was made into, or on 4chan or whatever. Whenever you sort of fucking just high tier memes coming out of incredibly, it's hate leads to anger, whatever. What's the fucking, how the dark side has the most powerful thing because they will hate it. It's like that. All the powerful memes come out when everyone hates the manga. and it was great. I saw some great
you
memes
should
on there.
be loving like the aftermath of this chapter then.
No, I hate it because I actually kind of wanted it to be like I just want to like retire peacefully and then from the manga, but everyone's still like shitting on it, and I don't see why. I think people need to get like on with their lives, to be honest. Right, and so back to somewhat of a quick fire. Now that I've had my little rant, Marley or Paradise?
I mean, Paradise is cooler because the walls is a much cooler setting than generic 20th century location.
Marley, because all the best characters are from Marley.
Paradise.
And sort of like a more zoomed in version, Liberia or Shiganshina?
I mean, Liberia is a slave colony, so like Shiganshina?
Yeah, let's go with Shiganshina. I feel bad choosing like a ghetto.
Yeah, Shiganshina.
Shiganshina, right. And which of these are your favorite Eren? Blissful ignorance Eren when he's a child. Edgy shithead Eren, so when he kills those people onwards. RTS Eren, which is like a weird blend of everything. Hobo Eren. Sigma male edgy Eren, which is, up to the freedom child Eren, where he is a child. Eren Yogurt or Final Chapter Eren. Which one is your favorite Eren?
Hobo.
Beta cuck incel.
Which one's that?
Final Chapter Eren.
I'm going with baby blissful ignorance.
Hobo Eren. Definitely. Though I did like the Sigma male Eren during 120 to 123. That was quite good. Right. Paths Ghost or Hallucinations?
Hallucinations?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I have to say Path Goats now.
No, I think it's what you wanted.
What I wanted or what I thought it was?
Well, I guess the criteria really is undetermined since this is Polka's quick fire round. You are free.
Yeah,
you are free.
It's up to you.
I wanted it
Just
to be
say a
hallucinations
thing.
there, but yeah.
Obviously,
Right manga, so.
Paths Ghosts. Thank you very much.
No, I'm still convinced it's hallucinations.
Still.
I think you should just... I'm going to die on this cross, buddy. I hate the idea of ghosts. It makes every death like meaningless.
That's not true because they faded away with Paz. They're dead now too. So they died when Paz died.
Like the fucking Force ghosts. Like, what is this? Anyway. Eren's abs, Armin's intellect, Mikasa's strength, or Pixis alcohol consumption. Which would you prefer?
I know which one you would choose, Polka.
I mean, I would not want to have alcoholism in real life, so I will pick Eren's abs because that would mean a better fit body.
I like Gabby's answer, Reiner's ass, in the chat. But
I like that. Where is that? We're chucking that one in as well. Where is it? We're chucking that one in. I like you.
Is Gabby, that an option now? Because Eren didn't have.
Yeah. Reiner's ass.
Definitely
Reiner's. We're putting it in.
Oh,
we're putting it in.
Oh, then I'm changing my.
Whose ass did you think it was? Erwin's? That flat, soggy pancake ass? Come on.
I thought they said Eren. I thought Eren. So if it's Reiner, then that's an easy answer.
Yeah.
Why is Eren's body like a fucking... Eren's body side on, it's like a plank of wood. Like, he has no ass and like nothing going on.
Yeah, he has
in the front
Erwin
either.
Smith syndrome. It's
I guess the straw poll on this one, like they don't get the luxury of choosing Reiner. So
yeah, you got to be in it. But if it was just a straw poll thing, I'd probably say Eren's abs because you can get anywhere with a nice set of abs.
All right, of the options you gave us, I would have picked Armin's intellect if it was actually on display, but he disappointed me too many times. So I'm going to go with Pixis's. I'm going to go with Pixis's alcohol consumption.
And that's also Polka's choice, I'm guessing?
No, he took the abs.
No, actually, I said Eren's abs.
Oh, you said the abs. Okay, never mind.
Well, imagine if you could get absolutely smashed every night and still have abs like Eren. Like,
The perfect blend.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Okay, now we've got some. This is. I think they do get it, but they're not going to be like proper answers. This is a one name answer, one thing answer, one whatever answer. What was your favorite character in the manga?
Grisha.
Reiner.
Erwin.
Flock.
Yeah, no surprises.
What was the best character in the manga, though, in your opinion?
Objectively best. I'm just gonna stay with Irvin. I feel like.
Jean, I guess, because he showed the most depth throughout and consistency, I guess, with his character.
So I'm going to stick with Erwin, but Kenny Ackerman is way up there.
I'm gonna go on out of whim. Levi has the best arc because it actually fucking finishes at the end. No, I'm telling you, it's the best part. All right. Anyway, favorite moment
of the entire manga.
Yeah. What was your favorite moment? Doesn't have to be like, it could be like a part of a chapter. It could be like an extended series of events. What was it? Come on, it must be in your mind. Like when you think of the manga, you think of this.
Oh yeah, definitely Eren and Reiner's talk in chapter 199 and 100.
It's a solid pick. I like that.
For me, it's the Unarmored Titan in chapter 104.
For me, the crate scene. Like, you guys are surprised by that at all?
No, I'm not.
We are too predictable.
I'm saying one of my favorite scenes, just in the manga. I know it's like heavily implied and everything, but one of my favorite scenes is that scene when the walls start coming down and you cut to Mikasa and I think it's 123. Cut to Mikasa and Armin, and they're on the roof and they're talking about how he's doing the minor rumbling, and they're like, wait, why is Maria also fallen or whatever? Why is Sheena fallen? Everything like that, and then it cuts to Eren declaring war on the world. That is such a good scene. It builds up so well.
What I do wonder now, looking back, do they regret eating pie in 126? Like, if they had undertaken some action, they could have saved more than 20% of the world.
Right. Right, we're moving on now. In that regard, speaking of chapters, what was your favourite chapter?
100. Oh, 121. Sorry. 121.
I think, I'm going to go with 119.
And I will choose 69. Well, that was Levi's childhood. Kenny Ackerman.
Hell, dude, you're more immature than anyone else here. I can't believe this.
I knew where this was going to go, okay? But like, that was and Levi smiling at the end. Just, I like the happy ending chapters. We didn't get many of those.
122, Ymir Fritz's backstory chapter, even though it kind of gets ruined later on, but it's still a very good chapter with Eren at the end where he does all the shit and then they kill everyone. Epic. Right, what was your worst character? The one you hated the most?
Like, I don't actually hate any character, but you know.
Yeah, but let's imagine for a second you had no life and you genuinely hated a fictional
You mean
character.
like we're part of the anti-Gabby brigade that go from blog to blog?
Yeah, exactly. The anti-Gabbies, the genuinely raving lunatic anti-Gabbies and the raving anti-lunatic anti-Flocks, and anyone who hates like Levi.
So if we were going to join a crazed anti-community, which crazed anti-community would we choose?
Yeah.
I need to think about it a little more, actually.
No, you got to say
quick,
it
quick.
now.
Oh yeah, quick fire.
You have one in your head. I know you do.
Okay.
Everyone has one in their head, but they don't want to say it. Just say it.
Udo.
Oh no!
Take that, Udo.
Okay. For me, it's Floch. When he shoved back up, like. I slammed the table. I was so mad. I was like, no, this shit, no, what, no. So glad Mikasa killed him. I was so happy. Ugh. And that hair, no, he won't be missed.
So I actually am president of the anti-Corinna Braun League, and I've written about 37 posts on why I despise her. But I also it's tough for me because Rod Reese is like Corinna Braun but boring. So he's actually worse in that sense because he's just boring. But I think I will stick with Corinna Braun.
Least favorite character would be Armin, definitely, and then the worst written would be Connie.
I don't think we've gotten to worst written yet, have we? Or did you just?
Oh shit, we do not. Oh okay. Oh no.
Early answer.
Oh, I might have said it when the microphone was off. That might be why. Okay, what's your worst written character?
There's so many to choose.
It could be a character that was ruined by a writing decision. It could be a character that was consistently terrible, or it could just be like whatever. Doesn't matter. And I said Connie because he got ruined by 126.
Connie for sure. What the fuck is his character? Okay.
No, his character was good, and I think it was definitely. I was going somewhere, and they just forgot about it because, of course, he did.
Is that your final answer? Underscore?
Yeah, Cornelius.
He just copied me.
I mean, there's multiple, but yeah, I'm gonna say it. Armin there.
Ooh.
And I will. It's like I'm so. I want to say Historia, but she died in chapter 91, so she was actually great. So I go.
No, she was terrible before that, but okay.
No, she was great. She was great.
Also, she didn't die. Stop deluding yourself.
She died in chapter 91. It was a beautiful death.
She didn't die in chapter 91, though.
It was a beautiful death. I'll go with Connie too.
Really? Wow. The Connie hatred here is strong. Right. What was one thing you hated about AOT? Just in general. That can't be part... Okay, it can be part of the community. But what was one thing you hated about Attack on Titan?
The pacing.
It's a good one. Yeah. For me, I think...
Sorry, let's see Paul Allen's hate.
For me, I think the worst was like the Pats bullshit, starting with the memory wiping. I just, or plot convenience. I don't know, or character arcs going nowhere, or underused characters, or paying more attention to his art than the story.
Pick one of them. What do you hate more than everything else?
I mean, the thing that I disliked at first the most was the memory wipe thing. But I think if I look back at the story as an overall, probably I have to agree with Underscore, the pacing. Because that was really throughout the whole story an issue. So I'll go with that.
Okay, Momtaku.
So I'm going to read one of my friends' answers because I love it. Hated spoiler season on 4chan about SNK for sure. And I think that was a terrible, every month having to deal with people freaking out over nothing. Although this month it was secured. And yes, we didn't get a canon Aruri kiss.
The Uri, was it? How the fuck do you pronounce that? I don't know. The Uri hive mind has spoken.
I mean, Isayama clearly loved it.
But their least favorite thing was Polkka. That someone did kiss. Polkka. Obviously,
how many times did Isayama draw that crate scene? Clearly, he enjoyed it too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, he's got a picture of Reiner's bum on his wall somewhere. So if he didn't.
No homo.
Draw a picture of someone kissing.
That. No homo.
Right, and now we get on to the good stuff. What was the one thing you absolutely fucking loved / adored about Attack on Titan?
Mystery.
How real the characters and their emotions felt. That's what drew me in from the beginning when I watched the anime for the first time.
The friends I made along the way.
Okay. The lack of a true hero. I felt like he had protagonists, but he never really had heroes. I really like that in fiction. I think moral fluidity is a beautiful thing.
Well, we have Armin.
What was your best AOT meme? Attack on Titan meme.
Like that we personally created?
No, they just like.
Oh.
They just found funny.
I mean, I pledge allegiance to the Alliance. Oh shit, Renan is posting it!
I did like the pledge allegiance to the Alliance, to be honest.
I mean, for me, Pound Town, bruh, still makes me laugh, so yeah.
I'm gonna pass on this one and give you let you pick for me, Polkka, because you're the meme guy.
What is
I'm
that?
not a very good meme. I'm not a very good meme guy.
That's
I
okay.
find stupid things.
What a cop-out answer is that?
I was never really into the memes. Like I laughed at
That
plenty
is
of
very
them,
true.
but it's not. I've
Mom's
never.
Like, is a very serious person.
Yeah.
She doesn't even laugh at anything. She just like, you know, does all her work and then goes onto the Attack on Titan Tumblr and just starts writing essays. You know, that's what she does.
Didn't you like my, I don't know, Attack on Titan characters as Britney Spears songs or something you saw on Tumblr? John as a horse? I don't know. Something.
I'll pick one of my own then. Like I think the most fun I had in doing and creating was probably everything surrounding flat Aswin. Yeah, so I'll go with that. That was a lot of fun.
Flat Aswin.
Yeah, because we had like all kinds of dumb
and
theories.
Funny Air, who became Chair.
Yes,
yeah.
It was we had so much fun with that. That was like my friends and I. That was just a great time.
Yeah, excluding all of the shit that goes on Andrew's server, in general memes, this sounds really plebby, but I really found the Eren drip memes. You know, when it like when he walked in. You know, the anime where he walks into the room and he's like it's just got drip. You know, when he walks into the room and it just cuts him wearing drip. That had me just howling on the floor laughing for no apparent reason. I hated it. Someone posted the fucking video where you know, when he just like casually walks into the thing and he's wearing drip. It's so funny. Right, we've got three more, just three more, and we're all done. Right, we can all go to bed. And
no,
have we got more to do after this?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The whole point of this was, I don't know. We'll talk about it afterwards.
I made a big one because like it's the last time, and now it just wants to kill themselves. It's
I don't
amazing.
know. Listen, it's almost 1 a.m. for me, so I don't know if I want to keep going
true.
much longer.
It's only nearly midnight for me, so you know. The best moment in your AOT community? When you were in the community, what was the best moment?
Oh, best moments. Probably the prime time of Andrew server when it was like 121 chapter discussions and stuff like that. That was good stuff. Either that or during Uprising, I think.
My favorite moment was when Momtaku got chewed out by the fandom because of the chapter poll.
Oh, come on.
No, because it led us to our friendship and the podcast.
That's true. That's true. That was a lemons to lemonade moment for sure.
What was yours?
It's hard. Like I can't look back over 9 years and like make me choose between my children. There have been so many good moments.
This isn't Sophie's choice, okay? Come on.
Like, okay, so I'm gonna go with after Erwin died. That was a horrible time, but like we survived it and we have fun with it now, and just the resiliency of fandom. Maybe that was August 2016 was my worst month, but I made so many really close friendships, and it ended up being okay. Just that sense of community that you get when you go through stuff together and come out the other side. So I'll go with that.
Yeah, I think I'll go with underscore here. Though on my original one, I did say when people weren't shipping, because that really became a big problem in the end. I swear, everyone was shipping everything. It was awful. But that peak, not even Andrew's server, Titan on what's it called? Titans on tour. Oh, mate, that was the shit. that was prime Discord civility.
Well, that was a while ago.
Final three now. The best person. This is the final three of Quickfires, right? The best person you ever met because of SNK or.
Oh, that's tough.
Wait, do you want me to go first? Because I want to say something.
Sure.
Because I think that'll make it better. It's got to be Andrew for me. Because, what's the word? So I think when Andrew had 10K before he deleted his channel, he had his live stream, and I ended up joining, talking to him for a while. And because of that, I know so many new people, It's great. Like, I can, if I'm not doing anything on a Saturday or Friday, I can just hop on Discord and talk to people that I like being around, and it's a great experience. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, it's one of the. I'm actually kind of glad I stumbled upon SNK.
It really did become the friends we made along the way is the real SNK, man.
Genuinely, I like nearly all of you.
So it's the best person we've met, which is incredibly hard. But Underscore, do you have anybody?
The best person I've met on Discord. That just feels wrong calling someone out.
But because of SNK, though, it can't just
because of SNK. There's too many good people,
That's what I mean. That's why I'm quite lucky. Is I've got Andrew, who then through Andrew I was able to meet loads of new people. But it all goes back to Andrew.
I mean, Renan is bribing me to say him, so we have to say Renan.
Brazil numero uno.
Is that your answer?
Apparently so, Renan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Renan. Let's just say Renan. Let's go.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with one of our former guests, Cash, because her art is what got me into the fandom, and she introduced me. Like, she was my gateway to this entire community. So I wouldn't have met anyone here if it wasn't for her. So I'm gonna go with her.
Yeah, this is hard because I have met some of the best. I've met so many lifelong friends, like my friend Lost, Marie, obviously Luna, but I think that the best person, if I had to look at somebody that I see as just categorically the kindest, would probably be Ghost Martyr, who was a meta writer on Tumblr from 2014 through 2020, left the series, and just I don't know, the best heart I've ever seen in a person. So I would go with Ghost Martyr. Sorry, Renan.
I think you might have done this before, but what is the final score of the series in your opinion? Like out of 10, out of 10.
I literally feel like just from the experience alone that I have experienced because of this manga, the people I met, just the fun I've had on Discord and in real life and with other people, the experience alone makes everything 10 out of 10.
Alright, shut up.
Fuck you, Polkka. I'm holding you hostage right now. It makes it 10 out of 10 for me. The manga itself is like 8. But
Luna?
I'd experience I'd say a 9 out of 10 because I had some really highs and lows with this series, and yeah, I had a lot of great experiences in my personal life because of it. Got to meet Mom Taku, went to New York, got to meet Ghost Martyr and Cash. So went to San Jose because of them. So hopefully I can get to meet another fandom friend, Coffee, in Japan when COVID allows. So lots of good things, making me do a lot of things that I also enjoy. Story-wise, it differs. I still really love the Trust arc. After that, I think my favorite moment comes at the end of Return to Shiganshina, like the basement reveal. Love Marley. The rest is so or not so good for me. So maybe on average, I'll give it a 6.5.
Okay, and I'm going to go with the easy answer, Underscore, 10 out of 10. This, I have had the best 10 years of my life with this fandom. 9 years. I mean, it's benefited me as a person in more ways. It's made me more understanding. It's made me smarter. It's made me think harder. It's made me a better writer. It's given me self-confidence. The people I've met, the real life friends I will have the rest of my life. And just, I don't know, I could write a novel. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'm with Momtaku Underscore here. I think the story itself, 7 or 8. I think it had some it's got the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, but its highs are very high. So it's a good 7 or 8 out of 10. And 7, 8 or 9 actually. I'm going to say 8 or 9 out of 10 for the story, and then just in general a 10 out of 10. I think I've met so many new people and I've had such a great time because of it. I think that's what it's going to be remembered as. It's going to be the community that was made around it. It's not some communities like Undertale or something like that, which are fucking awful. It's quite a good community, and I think like it might stay together. It actually might stay together for another like 6 months after it ends. So, which is more than most communities can say.
When I look at other communities, SNK has been a great one compared to Voltron or Steven Universe or Star Wars. And I think all I want to say as we end the quickfire is that I hope everyone who's disappointed, I just hope this was still worth it for them. Like, I hope there's nobody out there who literally feels like they've wasted their time. I hope they also are like we are, and no matter what happened, no matter how this ended, this series was going to be a huge win for me as a human being, just because of the experiences I had. And I really hope that's true for everybody.
Yeah, guys, let's be honest. It's just a manga. It's not the be or end all of your life. You've met so many new people and done so many new things because of this manga. And so calm down and remember the good times. It sounds cringe, but some of the fucking funniest shit that's ever happened. It was on Attack on Titan stuff. So I don't know. It's the end of an era. We'll have to find some new manga to latch onto, like Legends of the Galactic Heroes or something like that. You know.
You know what's gonna come. You know what's gonna come. You're gonna watch that.
But yeah, no. In general, though, guys, just no matter what you thought of, I'm not going to say what I thought of the chapter. I think it's quite obvious, but no matter what you thought of 139, just get on with your lives and have a good one. That's it.
All right. So we are 2 hours into the second half and still haven't done half of what we hope to do. So Underscore, can you quickly read the straw poll winners? And what we'll do is we'll post the full answers on our website in the next day or so that anybody who wants to see the straw poll answers, we can do that.
I have the poll results all ready, and the first poll is Eren or Armin, and Eren wins with 4%. Surprisingly, he is 52% of the votes. It's very close. Next one is Mikasa or Hanji, and Hanji wins with 83%. Next one is Levi or Erwin, and Erwin wins with 51%.
51.
Yeah. Close one yet. Jean or Flock, and Jean wins with 70% of the votes. Where are my Flock shouts when we need them?
They don't invite into this server. That's why it's so.
It's open for everyone, Polkka.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Sasha or Connie, and Sasha won with 76%. You all disappoints me. Moblitz or Mikke, and Moblitz wins with 53%. Dina or Karl, and Karla wins with 85%. Mr. Brose or Mr. Leonhardt, Mr. Brose wins with 72%. Annie or Bertolt, Annie and Bertolt are tied.
Ooh.
And what's an answer there?
See, they would have been perfect for each other.
How ironic. Pixis or Nile, and Pixis wins with 59%. Reiner or Seek, and it's a tie as well.
No! Fuck!
It's funny because they have the same
The anger.
Same person, really.
Seethe, my children.
Peak or Porco, and Peak wins with 71%. I hate weebs.
Betrayal. Yeah, holy shit.
Gabby or Falco, and Gabby Gang wins with 57%.
Gabby Gang.
Gabby Gang. Okay. Xavier or Kruger, and Kruger wins with 64%.
What the fuck pick Xavier? Sorry.
Jelena. Andrew.
Yeah.
Jelena or Jankapon, Jankapon wins with 62%. Yuri or Willy wins with 56%. Kenny or Grisha wins with 53%. Shadas or Magaf, Shadas wins with 59%. Nanaba or Gelgar, Nanaba wins with 86%. Whoa, that's a huge jump. Okay.
People probably don't even remember Gelgar, that's why.
Marlo Hitch wins with 75%, proving her to continue to be best girl. Samuel or Das? Das wins with 52%. Hannes or Marco? Hannes wins with 58%. Historia or Ymir? Historia wins with 75%. Farmer Kun or Freckles Ymir? Freckles Ymir wins with 84%.
Wow.
Colt or Niccolo? Colt wins with 52%.
Ha! Ha!
I feel bad for y'all. I really do. Rod, Rice or Frida? Frida wins with 100% of the votes.
Do people even remember who Rod Rice was?
I'm sure.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, yeah, but I'm not sure if it got on record, but if you didn't pick Cole, you're obviously the younger child or an only child, so, you know.
How was the ending? 41% picked ugly, 33% picked good, and 25% picked bad. Which character best fits the description of Ermin's successor? No one picked Eren. 45% picked Hanji. 29 Armin. 25 Flock. Best arc, it's gonna be Marley, Uprising, Clash, RTS, War for Paradise, Trust, and no votes for female or rumbling.
Wait, what was the best one? What was the best one?
Marley.
Marley, okay.
And of those arcs, which was your favorite in terms of being in the fanbase? Marley, higher than War for Paradise.
That's stupid. That's not true. That's some retroactive bullshit.
That's
the
fake
fucking Marley
news.
arc was the most
facts.
toxic shit I've ever seen.
Okay.
Liberia or Shiganshina? Liberia wins with 3 votes. Best Eren, it's gonna be Hobo, then RTS, then Freedom Child, then Edgy Shithead, Sigma Male Edgy, Orange Yogurt, and Bliss for Ignorance, and nobody picked Final Chapter Eren. Orange Yogurt won, guys. That's what we won, right? Paths, Ghosts, or Hallucinations? Paths, Ghosts got 90% of the votes. Most important, it's Pixie's alcohol consumption, 2:20 p.m. It's 59% of votes. Then Mikasa Strange, Eren's abs, Armin's intellect, and that's the end of the. Actually, no, we have a secret bonus poll here, which is the best one, 126 or 139. 126 wins with 66.67%.
And Renan is like having a heart attack right now. He's like.
What even was 129 again?
126 versus 139.
126 was high.
Or the series ending, which was worse.
139 was better than 126. You can fuck yourself.
Okay, that concludes the quickfire round, and nothing more to say.
No, 126. If I know it might be a big meme, but if you put 126 above 139, you are fucking deluded.
Well, I think in time people will feel that way, but there's a visceral reaction right now.
That's the best way to do it. I'm telling you.
So let me. I have to close the podcast, and then we can keep going. So,
thank you guys for managing this for us. It's been a great help. If we're doing a second live thing, we will ask you back.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you, Polkka, for the quick fires for 2.5 years now, and Underscore for helping. Puppet, again, thank you guys all for helping us with this live event. Everyone who has listened, I cannot believe anybody listened. Thank you.
Puppet's top because he actually managed to figure out all the technical stuff for the last quick fire round, which got all the audience interactions. So
you guys are all rock stars. So yes, thank you, Underscore.
You're welcome. It was fun. It's the last time. We have to do something, right?
I appreciate it. So I also want to thank our Patreons. And this list has gotten rather long. Kenny H., Taryn, Simon Cox, Ann M., Silarana, Demonic Jesus, Ruby Gus, Zero Vits, Linduin, Dom Garcia, Vital, DominicG. And Vital and DominicG, I think, are brand new. So thank you guys. I also want to thank Eren Jaeger did nothing wrong. Thank you, Swedish Chef. I love Zeke Jaeger. Thank you, Andrew. Flock Forrester is the best character in the manga, which was Polkka's Patreon. Erwin BDE Smith. Thank you, Firelord Sika, for saving me from this train of constant misery. And
BDE means big dick energy.
It does.
Realize,
it does.
Guys.
Thank you, Polkka, for explaining that.
Don't exist. Okay, and
but if I had to give a winner to the best name, it would be Underscore, who signed up as Eren Will Win in chapter 140. So we'll be back for that 140 podcast, and we'll invite Kiko and some of the others. And yeah.
Guys, I can't wait to have Kiko and Dutch on for the 140 podcast.
Yes, I cannot wait to have them on the 140 podcast. We look forward to all of you joining us then. We're also going to announce that we're going to suspend the Patreon billing for May while we figure out what to do. I don't think Vital or DominicG are ever going to get charged. And future plans, Luna, what we got?
Yeah, so aside from like possibly another stream with our guests, we're also just planning like a live stream just talking about the manga. We'll be hosting it on YouTube, I guess. And it will just be Montaku and I talking, and you guys can join in the chat. No voice for anyone, just chat.
They don't trust us.
We also will be guesting on Titan Tea Time. We'll be recording at the end of this month. I'm guessing it will be out beginning of May, our joint podcast. So that should be fun, where we'll do kind of like a retrospective on the series and talking about doing the podcast and how that will go. We're also still planning on covering Attack on Titan, the final season part 2, come winter, whenever that may be. But that's still a long way away from now. And then, what are we going to do next as a monthly podcast,
Well,
Montaku?
basically, they're going to be doing Legend of the Galactic Heroes reaction.
Base.
So, you know.
That's yeah.
You guys know what Legend of the Galactic Heroes, right? It's a great
Everyone
show.
in our server wants us to do a reaction to Legend of the Galactic Heroes, so I feel like we have to at least do the movies, I guess.
It appeals to everything. It's got all the politics, the action, the weirdly homosexual relationships.
Maybe it's also good for us to do something very different from Attack on Titan instead of like more of the same.
Oh, it's not the same.
I feel like it's more of the same, but
it's not more of the same. It's better.
All right.
Anyway, it's on our list, but we don't know yet exactly where we're going to go with May. Hence why also the Patreon billing for May is suspended. We will figure it out, though, and we'll let you know. So yeah, that's kind of where we stand there, unless Montaku has come up with something else that I have forgotten.
Not.
Okay.
And I did forget one thank you. Luna, when you hit me up, or when I hit you up, we can argue the history. In June of 2018 and said, podcast? Sure, let's do it. I had no idea it would turn into this. I just want to thank you for being my partner and my friend and putting up with me for how many? We've done 31 episodes now? Or
3? I don't know. A lot.
So thank you. I love you. And I appreciate it.
Thank you for editing most of these podcasts throughout these years. And also editing this mess. I don't envy you.
Is that your cat in the background that keeps trying to get on the podcast?
Yeah, he wants to go outside. He's like, let me out. Yeah. Also a reason why I have to go. Anyway, yeah, it's been great doing this with you for 2.5 years, so maybe almost 3. And yeah, I hope we'll figure this out, how to keep going, how to keep moving forward with this podcast. Anyway, thank you all for listening in. I hope you had a great time. I certainly did not expect this many people to join our podcast server, let alone listen in for 4 hours. So thank you so much.
Alas, fellow listeners, into the night we go.
And thank you all for devoting your hearts and your ears. And hopefully until next month with a new catchphrase. Bye.
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 Polka's like, nah.
Oh, no, we're watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Bye.
I followed you around, tried to protect you from this. I know better now. Some things I just can't help but miss. You wrap the scarf around fight until we're down. Some fights you just can't win. If you don't try, you'll never know. I'll always love you, but maybe I need to let this go. The flames are growing higher. It's almost too late to put out these fires. I've always burned, I'll always burn for you. It's getting closer now. A fate we've tried so hard to resist. There's no more room to doubt that there's any other way to end this. Believe me, I've tried, and now I know I'll always love you, but I'll be the one to let you go. The flames are growing higher. It's almost too late to put out these fires. I've always burned, I'll always burn for you. These days are getting longer, and you found ways to become stronger. Look what you've done, see what you've done, and can't undo. It kills me to end this, to take my blade and sever it. Was this always meant to be? Would it always have been me? As the flames are growing higher, and it's too late to put out these fires. I've always burned, I'll always burn for you. The end is drawing nearer. No regrets, make the choice that's clearer. No, well, I care. I am prepared for what I must do.
The song that we had leading into this was Scarf by Tori Morgan, and it was inspired by chapter 138, produced by Rare Bear, and we'll be linking to it once we get this podcast on YouTube. So if you'd like to give it another listen, look for the link there.